Hi, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Professor, you are audible.
Yeah, 1 minute. A very cheerful morning to all the honorable guest speakers, delegates, students, and all participants present here. Coming to our past conference report, HK Conferences organized a second global webinar on artificial intelligence and data science on August 17 and 18, 2024. It's my honor and a great privilege in welcoming you to third global webinar on artificial intelligence and data science. Myself, Kiran. It's my pleasure to be a moderator for this conference today. On behalf of organizing committee, first of all, I would like to thank you all for finding time from your busy schedule to be here today. Today marks the major activity in the brief existence of artificial intelligence and data science webinar, a moment where we are interacting, sharing experiences, and reflecting on various areas. In this occasion, we shall have outstanding presentation from our prominent presenters, whom I believe shall enrich our insights and knowledge. Artificial Intelligence and Data Science 2025 program will focus on currently employed technologies, disruptive innovations, and application of recent progress and evidence-based data. The webinar experience is for everyone involved in the delivery, development of artificial intelligence and data science, as well as those who are actively involved in participating educational programs. The conference particularly welcomes contribution from faculty, researchers, industrialists, and students, etc. We highly appreciate each and everyone for the participation and also the chair and co-chair, namely Olvold Fagboheim from UOC and Professor Francesco Aiolori from Italy. We hope you enjoy the conference and your participation will contribute to our professional development and relationships. Yeah, without any delay, we'll go with our first speaker. Our first speaker is Professor Rodolfo Volaka. Professor Rodolfo is a management engineer and senior manager specialized in digital innovation. He he is a past university professor at the Polytechnic of Milan and University of Turin, and author of publications in International Journal of Electronic Business, Sol 24 For some years, he has been dealing with generative AI, trained in artificial intelligence at the Kellogg Business School of Chicago and MIT Sloan School of Management of Boston. He has worked in NLP, prompt engineering, and AI generated video. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Professor Rodolfo Valaka.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the second day of the third global webinar, Artificial Intelligence and Data Science in this second day. Thanks, Kiram, for your kind presentation. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Professor.
Okay, thank you. And are you also able to see my slides?
Yes, it's visible.
Perfect. So we can start. Today we will start talking about revolutionizing media, artificial intelligence powered voice cloning, and face swapping. Um, the 2024 ended with the three main aspects. Numerous releases of new tools from major AI companies involved in the development of LLM for audio-video generation. The second aspect was the announcement of the World Economic Forum, which paid great attention to the impact of AI on job, as also yesterday Francesco Yerlori well described. And the third was the great impact that AI agents would have in 2025, as yesterday Balaji Sundara illustrated. Today, we will analyze the AI revolution in the media industry, considering all these three factors. Now, let's start with some premises to analyze the impact of generative AI sector and some useful definition to have a common vision of the AI universe. So, someone that is very important, like Harvard Business Review, says that AI won't replace human buying, but humans with AI will replace humans without AI. Just 1 second, sorry. Okay. Just 1 second. Move this. According to the World Economic Forum, in the report 2025, we are assisting on a great change in the market of jobs. From 2025 to 2030, 170 million jobs will be created worldwide. 92 million will be replaced and 78 million will be new features. Now we'll define a common picture for all of us. Clearly, all you know what is generative AI. It's a type of AI that generates new content and artifacts such as text, images, video, and also audio and others. It uses machine learning models to create new data similar to the data it has been training on. In this chart, you can see how Gartner analyzed the impact of generative AI by industry. By now, the impact of video and image and audio, it is, let me say, generally speaking, low, and is just in a few sectors the impact has been relevant, like banking and securities, communication, media, and manufacturers. But things are gonna changing. Let me talk now about large language models. Large language models, as you perfectly know, is a type of artificial intelligence that has been training on a vast amount of text and will learn from existing content and data, and it will generate new original content, according to the Kellogg School of Management. Now we talk about deep learning. Since 2015, we know that is a subset of machine learning in which multi-layered neural networks are used to mimic human brain. Practically, it's a way to make computer and software learn particular characteristic of data. Let me say an example. If we have an input an image, layers can be dedicated to analyze pixel, rows, columns, edges, shapes, or colors in order to generate an output image. Let's deep in this example, that is an example of Kellogg School of Management. If we have an input an image of a cat that is in the living room, and we want to obtain the image of a cat that is working on a hot roof, we have to pass some hidden layers, for example, 5. In each of these happens some transformation, and at the end of this process, we obtain the desired output. Try to analyze the neural networks in a very simple way. Make a comparison. We can imagine a neural network as a multi-story building. Each floor represents a layer of neural networks. Each room on the floor represents a single artificial neuron. Doors connecting the rooms represent the connection between neurons, and door status representing the connection weights. For example, wide open door has an high weight. Closed door has a little or no weight. The training adjusts the door weights to optimize the flow of information. The goal is to find the optimal configuration of the weights. Now we have a common picture of the AI universe where machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Generative AI, it is a subset of deep learning. And large language model is a subset of generative AI. As announced before, Gartner predict that in future things are gonna changing regarding the impact of audio video in generative AI. Looking this hype cycle for revenue and sales technology, we can see how the top 3 technology have an impact on future are emotion AI, generative AI for sales, and sales AI assistance. At the moment, AI is not yet empathetic, is not fully able to grasp, generate emotion like sensitivity, to grasp linguistic characteristics, nuances like irony, or to cultivate long-lasting relationship, including trust. However, Gartner believes that in next 10 years, artificial intelligence techniques and software will be able to perceive user emotional states. And this is already happening in some contact centers. Now we will analyze the large language model and tools for audio generation and voice cloning. There are different types of output we can obtain through generative AI for audio. For example, sounds or soundscapes, voices, including realistic or even cloned ones, music, and can think to single songs or entire soundtracks. And also YouTube Music, for example, is generating AI-generated radio, where user can create a custom radio station by describing what they want to hear. The typologies in which the LLMs works are typically in main ways they operate. Audio to audio, so we have audio in input and audio in output. Image to audio, when we have image in input and audio in output. Text to audio and video to audio. Sometimes we can see that speech is used instead of audio, and we often listen talking about text to speech instead of text to audio. WaveNet, it is one of the most famous LLM for audio generation. It is a generative model released by Google DeepMind in 2016, lots of time ago, in order to generate natural sounding speeching, imitating any human voices and sounding natural. There are numerous applications like improved video calls, even in weakest connection, helping people regain their original voice after losing the ability to speak, and consent a free trial. Then we have other tools like Hiva in order to produce music and soundtracks and offers also music license. Hailu that is able to offer the service of cloning voices. Music AI Sandbox that is able to generate music loops and new composition. Soundful that is royalty-free background music. Other tools again, and of which I would like to highlight voice.ai that is able to generate voice cloning. For audio editing, a notable application, it is Google Notebook LM. That is a free tool only in English for now, in which after uploading up to 300 sources, you can transform this app in your personal assistant or coach. You can ask to summarize all the documents in some row in 500 characters. You can interact with the contents, asking questions. You can ask to write an article for you in order to generate an article, an example for LinkedIn, or you can generate audio or podcast. You can also provide, it is also able to provide a detailed analysis, or even to make comparative analysis between your own audio and top performance audio. There are also other tools, and here we can see 5, and the 5th one, Val E2, it is able to clone a voice. And we have also other tools to generate podcasts, like Adobe Podcast, for example, Cast Magic, 11 Labs, Janet FM, and LaunchPod. All these are very good applications, and you have to try in order to find the best for you. We often hear AI will steal jobs and replace humans, but the history of sound, it is also a history of technology that changed production, arrangement, recording, and performance. So artificial intelligence will not replace sound designers. The sound designer will enhance their skill through generative AI, and they are able to do as they better image the right result they want to obtain. They know how to translate better technically the request into prompts for AI. They are able to evaluate whether the AI generator audio is of value for the final target. So the role of the sound designer is just evolving, and new professions are arising, like a artificial intelligence audio music detector. In 2017, the term deepfakes appeared on Reddit platform, and this word is a combination of deep, that is part of deep learning, and fake, that is a word used to mean false. So a deepfakes refer to a specific kind of synthetic media where a person in an image or video is swapped in another person likeness, on and or where a voice is cloned with another person's vocal sound. This is according to MIT. How works the voice cloning generation? Voice cloning creates a digital copy of a person's voice using generative AI. This technique trains a machine learning algorithms on speech patterns, then extract some acoustic feature. The large language model generates vocal patterns, speaking style, intonation, accent, and nuances, and then a generative AI application, such as Resemble AI or Logo, generate a new speech that sounds like the original voice. The last step is a fine-tuning of the cloned voice. This application is able to generate new dialogue even in real time or in another language, even controlling its emotion expressiveness. The applications are typically content creation, voiceover for videos, podcasts, audiobooks, personal messaging for marketing campaigns, customer engagements, and personal notification, or multilingual content for localization and translation projects. Also, we have video game development for immersive experience for players, data sonification for translating complex data patterns into auditory representation, automated customer service to create realistic sound virtual assistants, entertainment in movies, TV shows, and other entertainment media. The key best practice for voice cloning are: first, get permission. Always obtain consent from individual before using someone's voice. Then use reputable apps like Resemble AI, Voice Engine AI. Know your tools. You have to learn how the software works before use it properly. Use clear recordings, clear and high quality audio in input, ensure better voice clones. Then you have to focus on data quality. High quality and well-structured training data help to produce accurate and realistic audio. Fine-tune the large language model on specific data sets in order to improve performance. Then make bias detection, analyze generated audio across diverse data set, catch anomalies. Then review generated audio, verify every output to detect errors. Post-process the final output in order to manually adjust error. Be ethical. Ensure usage of generated audio is legal and ethical. Respect privacy. Don't use personal voice without consent. test the generated audio in different contexts in order to check for unintended consequences or ethical violations, protect data, securely handle and store any personal or biometric data like voices, and be honest. Let people know that your output is an AI-generated audio that includes cloned voices. Generally, AI-generated audio are highlighted with some watermark, and if not, we have some tools that help us to identify these AI-generated audios. Some are AI or not, deepfake detector, identify, resemble AI. We have some takeaways. We go fast. AI models generate voices and music. Voice cloning creates digital copy of a person's voice using generative AI, even in real time or in another language, but it is important to use it responsibly and ethically. AI models modify voices. AI models edit music. To distinguish AI-generated audio, you can use new watermarking methods. Now we will talk about large language models and tools for video generation and face swapping. We start with some prediction. Gartner said 2 years ago that by 2025, 30% of marketing content will be produced by AI tools for generating images. And last November, Meta said that today, 50% of what you see on Instagram is generated by AI. Which kind of video can create the artificial intelligence? Video clips, for example, realistic video, imaginative video, stylized video, video animation, video editing. Which are the ways in which the LLMs and tools for generating video operate? Audio to video, where we have audio, speech, music in input and video in output, image to video, text to video, video to video. Google View, it is the most advanced LLM for videos according to users and industry experts at the moment. It is generated by Google for created video, text to video, and image to video. The Veo 1 was launched in May 2024 to generate video up to 1 minute duration in full HD. Veo 2 was launched last December and increases the level of realism and detail, and also has an invisible watermark in order to identify the AI-generated video. On the website, it's possible to watch videos and the related prompts. I have just a couple of examples for you. This is the first example. It is an image from a video generated by Google Veo 1. You can see on deepmind.google. And this is a second example of Google Veo 2 that you can see on, again, deepmind.google. The main competitor at the moment, it is Sora, that is an OpenAI generative AI tool that is text to video, image to video, and video to video. It was launched in the same period of Veo 2 in December 2024, and is accessible to ChatGPT Plus and Pro subscribers in 150 countries. And all the video generated by Sora include watermarks and metadata in order to ensure transparency. Here is an example of a screenshot of the video and the related prompt, and you can see many other on the OpenAI Sora website. What is important to say that it is better for the video to create good prompts in English, and for this you can ask another LLM to generate a prompt for you in English, starting from your original language. The video generation of OpenAI and Sora has the following characteristic. The video format, it is 16:9 or 9:16, resolution up to full HD, duration up to 20 seconds. Average creation time, it is approximately 30 seconds to generate 10-second low resolution video, and the video variation are offered 1 or 2 or 4 video variation for each video generation, and it offers also a timeline and a storyboard. OpenAI Sora offers also some video editing options like blend, edit prompt, loop, recut, remix, view stories. One important thing it is that it's better to generate multiple videos and then to merge them in a new video longer than 20 seconds. Here are a couple of examples. This is the first video clip created by Sora, in which the artist created 55 separate clips and then edited together with Adobe Premiere in order to obtain a video clip of 4 minutes. This is another example. This is a first short film realized with Sora in just 7 days. The title is The First Humans, in which, again, they reached up to 4 minutes of full video starting by shorter clips. MetaMove it is the generative AI tool from Meta, and it's able to create images. So a text to image application, audio, it is a text to audio, or video, it is a text to video, and offer also video directing tool, so acting as a video to video. Practically, it is a transformer foundation model with 30 billion parameters, accessible only to selected profile. The video generated max 16 seconds in full HD. This is an example, a frame of a video that you can see on YouTube, generated by MetaMovie. And there are also, in the eastern part of our globe, great tools to generate video. For example, Vidu, that is a generative AI tool by Shangzhou Technology for created video in a text-to-video way, and created video up to 16 seconds in full HD. This is a frame. You can see what kind of quality, great quality, is able to generate video. And we have also Tencent Hunuyan Video, that is an open source generative model, text to video and image to video, that is able to generate also video to video application. It is available for use by developers, but also to users globally, and has 13 billion parameters that ensure physical precision, scenic coherence, and complete dynamic actions in a single flow. And some limitations still remain, but is a very good tool. Here are the main characteristics. The video format is 16:9 or 4:3 or square 1:1. The resolution is up to HD resolution level, duration between 3 and 10 minutes. The creation time, it is a bit longer than the others. Let me say few minutes in order to generate 5-second low resolution video. And the great strength of this application is the video to audio. So they automatically generate synchronized sound effects and background music, exceeding the critical gap of existing AI generated that generally are mute or silent. This is an example of a screenshot and the related prompts you can see on the right, but many other you can see on the website. An important thing is that at the moment, Huanyan video not include watermarks or metadata. However, the Cyberspace Administration of China has required explicit labeling of AI-generated content. This is a frame from a showreel that you can see on YouTube. And there are many other tools able to do this. You can see 12 in this page, and if you want, you can try each of these. And we have other 11, and 2 are notable for the phase swapping. The Pika and Runway offer this service. What is important to consider now that changing the faces of content in a video, we can create an avatar. So an avatar is created asynchronously and cannot interact with the audience, and it is a virtual representation, audio or video, that embodies your appearance and communication style, according to Kellogg School of Management. Practically, an avatar for a teacher allows to create a video content directly from a speech without the need to be physically record the videos. This is an example of a commercial of a fast fashion Spanish company called Mango, in which the model has been replaced with the avatar. In fact, the young girl with Mediterranean feature was generated by an algorithm. The clothes are real. Here is another example of a commercial of a toro, in which all the actors are practically avatars because they want to represent the main targets of the campaign. Artificial intelligence won't replace video makers either. Again, the video makers enhance their skill through generative AI as they better image the video they want to obtain. They are able to know how technically translate into better prompts, and they are better able to evaluate whether the AI-generated video is value for the final target. Again, the role of video makers is just evolving, and new professions are emerging, like artificial intelligence video detector. Face swapping replaces one person's face in an image video with another person, creating realistic output and illusion. How it works? Practically, this technique uses machine learning algorithms to make a face detection. Then a generative AI application maps and blends target face onto the source face, and then a deep learning model ensures face alignment and merging. The important things to consider, and that face swapping raises ethical issues. You must use AI responsibility to maintain trust and integrity. How to use AI-generated video, including face swapping? For example, in advertising, face swapping can be used to make advertising more relatable to the audience. For example, a sport clothing line can have a Brazilian football star when the ID is shown in Brazil, whereas the advertising, when shown in India, can have Indian cricket stars without recording again the same video. Other applications are in e-commerce, in which virtual trays can demonstrate how jewelry, clothing, and other things will look on potential customer like you, and have also practical application like privacy protection by anonymous media and faces in media. The training, it is another application in which some faces of the people are in the audience of the training session can become the main character of a video in real time, so create identification and better training. Again, here privacy and legal consideration has to be in your mind when you make face swapping. Deepface Lab is a free and open source software to create realistic face swapping. It is the leading AI software for creating deep fakes. It is able to replace the face, de-age the face, replace the head, and Deepface Live, it is able to do this in real time. More than 95% of deepfake videos were created by Deepface Lab in 2024. But there are other tools and LLM able to do this, like Omni-Human One by BitDance, that create realistic deep videos of any length just from one photo and one audio file. And they are able to edit existing footage. They're also able to create a Taylor Swift video never shot, and a TED Talk never filmed, or an Einstein lecture never given. It is not yet released to the public right now, but you can see some video example on the website. Then there is Agen. Agen, it is one incredible generative AI platform that is able to generate speaking avatars in 40 languages, offers a freemium opportunity, so free trial and then subscription in order to have premium services, and is able to create videos with talking avatars or translate videos. AI Agen creates advertising videos also for Amazon, Salesforce, and Volvo, for example, with realistic avatars. In this video available on YouTube, you can easily understand how can translate from an original speech in Italian, a video in other 6 languages, for example, and it is able to generate avatars with different methods. Text to video, text to be recited by the avatar. Audio to video, audio input to be recited by the avatar. Image to video, giving a photo in input or portrait, you can create your avatar, or video to video, a video recorded in a language that you want to translate in another language, or a video that allows you to create the avatar and digital twin. How to create your digital twin or instant avatar? To create a digital twin, you need to choose your ready-made character, upload your preferred character, or create your character. Then make a voice selection, a text selection, and finally a language selection. What is a digital twin? A digital twin can interact in real time with the audience. And it is a virtual model that replicates an individual behaviors and knowledge using data from the real life content and expertise, according to Kellogg School of Management. And in the sample of a teacher, a digital twin of a teacher simulate responding by offering insight based on the proprietary knowledge of the teacher. Here we are other example of digital twin that are used in synthetic patients, for example, in USA, particularly where generative AI are tested on digital twins, and once successfully tested, they can be applied on real patients. Or digital twin are used also in simulation of products, for example, in recreating a digital twin of an aircraft and to evaluate modification to the aircraft before in the digital twin in the software and after practically in the production. Or digital twin are created to create a production plant completely without workers, with incredible advantages in terms of cost, quality, and time. The best practice for face swapping are: get permission, obtain consent always from individual before using someone's face. Use reputable app like Deepface app, Lab, and Agen. Know your tool. Learn how the software works before use it properly. Use clear image, high quality picture, make better swaps. Focus on data quality, well-structured training data, ensure accurate video. Fine-tuning on specific dataset. Then bias detection, analyze generated video image across diverse dataset to catch anomalies. Review generated video. Verify every video output to detect errors. Post-production of the final output with Adobe After Effects, for example, to manually adjust errors. Be ethical, ensure legal and ethical usage of the generated audio video with swapped face. Respect privacy. Don't use personal photos, faces without consent. Test generated video images in different contexts in order to check for unintended consequences and ethical violation. Protect data, securely handle and store any personal or biometric data like faces, and be honest. Let people know that your output is an AI-generated video included with swapped face. According to Deloitte, in the United States, the AI-generated content that contributed to fraud losses up to $12 billion in 2023, and the projections are even worse, reaching $40 billion by 2027. How to distinguish the AI-generated video? So the important thing is to regulate through laws adequately use of deepfakes. But now it is possible to use the degenerative AI tools and detectors like Deepware, Deepfake Detector, or Identify. We have some takeaways here, summarizing. AI models generate new video or edit video starting by textual prompts, image or video. Avatar are virtual representation of audio video that embodies an individual appearance and communication style. Digital twin are virtual models that replicates an individual's behavior or knowledge interacting in real time with the audience. Face swapping replaces one person's face in an image video with another person, and use AI-generated video and face swapping responsibly. At the end, distinguish AI-generated video through visible marking on the video or watermarks and metadata. Now, what happens if we include face swapping and voice cloning in AI agents? Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce, said that the future of AI lies in autonomous AI agents and not in language models. Satya Nadella said that AI agents will replace all software. We are moving from the software as a service to agent as a service. But what is an AI agent? An AI system that perceives its environment, takes actions autonomously in order to achieve goals, and may improve its performance with learning or acquiring knowledge. Gartner predicts that by 2028, at least 15% of daily work decisions will be made autonomously by AI agents. Here we can see a huge number of AI agents, but are highlighted the area in which there are image and video like agent. So at the moment, my question is, can you imagine what happens if your avatar of your digital twin make decision for you autonomously? These are some takeaways we have to consider. AI agents take action autonomously in order to achieve goals. Face swapping and voice cloning are transforming the capability of AI agents. And AI agent includes face swapping and voice cloning act as an avatar of a digital twin, creating more engagement, personalizing, and accessible experience for user. The most important thing that ethical consideration are to be addressed. Thank you very much. I consider me at disposal for any question here live, or if you should prefer by email or on LinkedIn.
Are there any questions? Thank you very much for a great presentation, Professor.
Thank you, Kiran.
Our next speaker is Mr. Mark Breslin. Mr. Mark Breslin is a thought leader in artificial intelligence, business transformation, and innovation strategy. As a co-founder of Amplify and Impact, he drives meaningful change through AI in the back-to-back sector. Previously, as Chief Product and Technology Officer and Chief AI Officer at Informa, Mark led impactful AI and technology initiatives, establishing an AI Center of Excellence. He advises global enterprises and startups on integrating AI into business strategies, emphasizing responsible and ethical adoption practices. A dynamic speaker, Mark has delivered talks at leading global events, including the AI Summit series, exploring the topics such as enterprise AI transformation and AI-driven personalization. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Mr. Mark Breslin.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm hoping you're able to see my slides, but I don't think they're coming up yet. Just going to try and share the deck again.
Yes, we can see.
Oh, you can see the slides?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, cool. I will get going then. Bear with me. So today I'm here to talk about scaling up AI solutions, going from prototypes and pilots to enterprise-wide deployment. I'm going to talk to you some of the common pitfalls that I see, and as we go through the talk about how to address those in time. I speak all over the world about AI, and I speak to a lot of companies in the course of my day-to-day work. And hopefully we'll have a few minutes for Q&A at the end. So please do add any questions into the comments, and Karen will bring them to my attention. So I'll start with a little bit about me. So until recently, I was the Chief AI Officer at Informa, which is the largest conference company in the world. And I was also the Chief Technology and Product Officer for a £400 million division in that organization. So I got to work at the intersection of business and technology for many, many years across different organizations. And the idea today really is that it's not to talk about anything academic or theoretical. The idea is like this is all born out of real work that I've done myself in the course of the last few works working around data and AI and technology with different companies. And I want everybody to leave the session here today with a much better sense practically about what organizations need to do to go from either pilots and prototyping all the way up to scaling out more broadly across their organization. So I thought we'll start off with just some of the key challenges. And these are ones that I have seen time and time again with different types of organizations, commercial organizations, public organizations, charities, etc., small, medium, and large, all the way through really, really common patterns. And as we go through the session, you'll see that there's strategies for mitigating some of these to avoid some of these pitfalls. So just step through them briefly. And I'm sure some of the people here on the call will be familiar with some of the patterns that we're talking about here. Not having leadership, and by that I mean like not having a single accountable owner for AI inside an organization. There being a lack of strategic focus, there a lack of coherence, and pilots just happening everywhere. And this quite often happens in organizations where there's lots of entrepreneurial individuals across an entire company, and they're just doing stuff with tools that they're not approved, they're not recognized, and they're making a lot of progress, but it's just not joined up. The second pattern I'm seeing is where companies, they believe that they need to sort out all the underlying data foundations before introducing AI. For years, companies have been told that they need to fix their data foundations. It's expensive, it's hard to do, and it's time consuming. And it's not true that you need to sort out all of your data foundations to actually get moving and make some material progress with AI. The third pattern then is around CEOs not having a clear line of sight of where they'll get return investment from investing in AI, and therefore they don't. They're just kind of waiting to see what the competition is doing, see what the market's doing, see if AI is just a bit of a hype essentially. And then the fourth pattern is organizations that solely focus on the technology. And this is problematic because it quite often is disconnected from the leadership. The leadership team don't recognize that they're actually accountable for deciding what the priorities are and what should be gone after. And then sometimes there's no AI literacy or responsible AI programs to support any AI transformation. And all those things rolled together just create numerous problems, and they tend to lead to failure and poor investment return. The fifth pattern then is around where AI is just bolted onto existing workflows, and workflows not being redesigned from the ground up with agentic AI in mind. And again, this is problematic because usually organizations have got suboptimal workflows in the workplace, and therefore just bolting on AI to something that isn't really that functional anyway is not for the long term going to be something that scales up. And then the last one is like essentially just finding out how to scale up from pilots. And this includes issues around people, process, technology, and governance. And the reality is that going to prototype stage or even pilot stage inside organizations with AI, it's very straightforward. It's not difficult to do at all. It's when you try to scale that up that things get really, really difficult, very hard. It's just exponentially harder to deliver deployments at scale globally rather than that just be a pilot and prototype sale because everything's got to be ready. The technology, the governance, the people essentially, and the processes and change management and communications, all those things need to work harmoniously and coherently. So all these patterns, you'll see them ripple through the talk as we go through it now. So first of all, I'm just going to start at a really kind of simple level. So AI adoption is stale. At its most simple level, it requires a measured and strategic approach, which is mostly common sense. First of all, don't wait to get started. If there's people here inside organizations that have not begun AI for whatever reason, it's worth just getting started. Identify relevant use cases for specific audiences, and those could be internal and external, or one or the other, to help deliver specific outcomes. And then work out how to achieve it. It can be done iteratively. You don't need all the answers. You certainly don't need a 100-page AI strategy deck before you get going. And if you have an organization, if you're inside an organization with a technology and a product team, ask them to help you figure out how to get started in a coherent manner. Don't just leave it to an individual or CTO or something like that, or leaving it to the organization just to organically get across this. It should be a mixture of top down and bottom up. Educate yourself. If you haven't done so already, learn about the risks and the pitfalls, and there are many. And conferences like this really help with education and learning about what's out there and learning what the market is doing. The space is moving really quickly, and it'll continue to do so. So it's a case whereby it's not learn things once and then move on. It will be continuous learning for yourself and your teams. And AI for its own sake, it'll be ineffective. AI that supports an organization's established goals and its strategy, it's much better, and it's much easier in the longer term to integrate that more fully, and it's more likely to be successful. And it's also important not to be too risk averse, because the reality is that some risks need to be taken, but the risks need to be understood. Mitigation need to be considered, and the blast radius can be planned so that there's an acknowledgement of what the blast radius could be if things don't go quite right, and you can adjust that as time goes on. And there is another misconception whereby organizations sometimes believe you need a huge internal tech team or to pay consultancies a lot of things to make things happen. That isn't true at all. You do need to have reasonable data and a group of people that understand how to do product development in a customer-centric way, and people that are interested in just getting things going. But having people joined up together and not just fighting the good fight alone is really important. And then the last element is around shadow AI. Be cognizant of the fact that inside whatever size organization you're working in today, there will be many people, if not all people, using different AI tools. Most of them won't be approved or recognized by your wider organization. It is just a reality. And when you think of that, you begin to recognize that you need to provide guardrails to allow people to experiment and make clear about what is allowed and what isn't allowed, and ensure that there's appropriate governance to make sure that the tools that they're using, there's an awareness of what's being used. Because if you don't understand what's being used, you don't know what information is being put into training models that are freely available for other people. And lastly, focus on the positives and not the negatives when it comes down to change management and communications. AI can be a real force for good inside organizations, so it's important to get the communications right. I thought it was worth putting this slide up just to talk a little bit about where organizations are investing in AI because they're seeing a return. Now, this slide is from McKinsey. Their survey is from McKinsey, and this is across several thousand organizations in America from around about the middle of last year. And you'll see the circles there are up around sales, marketing, product and R&D, and customer operations. And those are actually all the areas that I went after inside Informa, because I felt that there's going to be real measurable business outcomes from every single one of those areas. And it's interesting to see that that's where a lot of companies are going after, because they're pretty obvious areas. They're pretty binary essentially. And the more binary and things that black and white organizations are in terms of functions, the easier it is to achieve an ROI. Now, so this survey is across several thousand companies, and it's essentially showing how much is being invested into particular functions and where they're seeing an ROI. I thought it's just worth flashing up what can generative AI help with. Now, this visual, this is representative of a number of different industries. On the left-hand side, you'll see just a selection of different use case themes, we'll call them. in relation to the customer, which is say outside B2B or B2C. And then on the right hand side, they're more internal. And then in the middle circle, they're more a bit of a mix between the two. And frankly, generative AI, there are so many different use cases where it can really make a dramatic difference, a material difference inside organizations. These are just examples. Depending on the industry, it can get really specific, but sometimes it's much easier to get an ROI from use cases that are tried and tested across different companies. So you can certainly learn from others rather than going alone and hoping for the best. Going to get into some of the practicals now. Now, this is a strategic framework. I'm going to go through this at a really high level, but the aim being is to give you an overview about what are the steps you need to take in order to drive AI adoption in a strategic sense across your organization. Now, there's a bunch of detail behind this framework, and I'll be very happy to share it to anybody in the call that if they would like to have that after, and I will be happy to share offline. But the aim here, you'll see, is to go through each of the steps. So I'm just going to briefly talk through these. Now, even though it's shown as a road, in essence, this is layers. You'll go through every single one of those steps, and then at a high level, and then you'll go back over it, and you keep layering it over time rather than going through every single part at every single stage. So we'll just go through this briefly. So setting the objectives from the outset. This is where you're really just being really high level. You're looking at the company's strategy, the company's vision, the company's mission, and you're getting a sense of relation, what should you go after? Now, in all the work that I've done over the last years in AI and data, largely these break down into two broad areas. One is an internal goal, and that could be an AI objective around productivity. And the reason that people go after productivity is because if you can increase your productivity, you will improve your operating profit margin, and that is good for an organization. Usually then there's also a corresponding external goal. I certainly recommend this. And this is where if you have external customers, usually or often it goes down to improving the customer experience, because if you can improve the customer experience, you're likely to have those customers come back and possibly spend more money with you. So ultimately the aim here is to drive revenue growth. So the two goals being often around operating profit and revenue, and they can sit well together. And then you need to start getting people involved in this. Not many people need to be involved in defining those objectives. You can do that pretty quickly, and it's at this point you get people involved. When you get into building a rich picture, this is when you start getting really specific. What does it actually mean? If you have your top level goals, which are mapped to your business strategy, what are the things you should go after? And this is when you start getting into really specific areas. If you decide to go after marketing and sales, well, what kind of marketers do you have? What kind of salespeople do you have? Again, what kind of specific roles do they have? Is it a sales leader? Is it a sales account manager? Is it a marketing director? Is it a CMO? The more that you know about you breaking out your personas, the better you'll be at being able to get an understanding about what their real pain points are. So a lot of this is about research. And then you're getting into specific objectives for helping those problems to be solved by those individuals. When it comes inside, then you start thinking about, well, what technical capabilities do you have? What data do you have? What kind of integrations do you have? And this starts mixing in number two, which is building the rich picture, with number three and number four, when they are start working harmoniously together. Because once you have a view of the key pain points and the things that will really make them a difference either to your customers or to your internal employees, then you start getting a sense of what use cases to go after. And again, being really, really specific about what those use cases are, why you'd solve them, how you know it's been solved really well, how you would measure these use cases, and what the success criteria are. Then you start getting into what data have you got? Do you own the data? Have you got access to it? If you haven't got enough data, where else are you going to get it? Is the data usable? And the architectural approach. If you have an internal technology team, you can start getting a sense of, are you able to add something on already? Is there something that's already been used that you can extend? And the buy versus build versus hybrid approach, this is a conversation that it's not a one conversation with technology teams and executives. It's an ongoing conversation, because the reality is, even in a small organization, they're not just going to have one AI tool. In large organizations, they'll end up in hundreds or thousands, because every modern application is going to have AI capabilities built into it. And there is a necessity to have those orchestrated and joined up. So there's an understanding of what's flowing in, who's got access to the thing, and what's going out of it, essentially. so that there's complete transparency and accountability the whole way through. Once you've done these levels, then you start getting into building the plan. And it's great to have big ambition, but starting small is really important. Change enablement cannot be underestimated. Change management and communication, there is a significant amount, and it's ongoing. This falls into the area of AI literacy. But by starting small, you enable yourself to set small goals to be able to be more chance of having success, and then expanding. I'll go back to the word I used a while ago around blast radius, making the blast radius really small, because if something comes out from your company and it is public and it represents things poorly or incorrectly, that can really, really damage a brand. Coming up with the deployment approach, this is when you're coming into different waves of deployment. Usually you start with prototype, pilot, and then going up to scale. And then reviewing your plan. And this is like making sure that you have your data privacy plans, your governance plans, your legal plans, your communication plans, and making sure you're really clear about how we're going to measure success. And by that, I mean having baseline data. So it's clear what your starting point is. So it's very clear in terms of are things going right, are things going bad, and then building in your feedback loops. Because if you have feedback loops, then it's possible to improve and iterate what you're doing. And feedback loops are relevant for internal use cases as well as external use cases. And then lastly, measuring and magnifying. You go big on the things that are working and you dial down and change the things that aren't working. And you talk about it. You make sure that you are being open, transparent, and just really clear about what you're actually using for. And if you're doing external use cases, telling your customers what you're doing and why you're doing it, so that they're on board with you and there's a full sense of transparency, which helps to build trust. I'm going to talk a little bit about responsible AI because sometimes I talk to people and they're not quite clear what this means. So this is just a top level view. So responsible AI, it's almost an umbrella term for things including ethical AI, which is around looking at things such as bias, fairness, transparency, and accountability. And from the outset, really thinking about what does responsible AI mean for your organization and putting in a framework to people to operate in, and by providing clarity and understanding around what stance is your organization taking in relation to responsible AI, it can start to fitting into some of your values around AI. Bias mitigation, again, it kind of starts with understanding about, well, what does bias mean in relation to your organization and how are you going to go about mitigating that? Privacy and security, it's a real problem, and leaning into this from the outset is going to help to mitigate problems for your organization. I'm sure everybody in this call is very familiar with the term human in the loop. That's critically important and it will continue to be for many, many years to come. And this is when you make sure that you have oversight at the right point in time to make sure that there's quality control measures the whole way through. AI governance also intersects with responsible AI, and this when it gets into more the mechanics of things, such as I said a few moments ago, around who's got access to data, what applications have got AI capabilities, have they been approved, have they been acknowledged and recognized, are we really clear about who's allowed to use them, and so on. Now, AI literacy and managing change, this is another area where sometimes companies struggle because they're not quite clear where to start. Embracing learning at every single level, and by this I mean at the board level all the way down to the works of the coalface. This is really, really important. It should become integrated into everybody's working life, not on day one, but over time, where it ends up in competency frameworks, job specifications, and there's an expectation that AI tooling will be used to help your organization. And it's important that the leaders walk the walk as well. So if the executives inside an organization are saying that a particular set of AI tools must be used, they should be seen to use them too. Otherwise, it rings hollow. It brings a lot more authenticity and helps to build trust if leaders are walking the walk. I talked a while ago about encouraging exploration. And that's once there are clear guardrails put in place about, well, what tools are people allowed to use, what sandboxes are in play, and what does experimentation really mean? And making sure that there are forums for people to share their learnings and to basically say, well, this worked really well, or this didn't actually work that badly, so that everybody feels like they have a vested interest in getting involved in this, and it kind of takes away some of the fear, we'll say. Open dialogue kind of cuts to all of this, and just to emphasize, like, walking the walk is true even at a managerial level, the whole way across an organization. It's got to be authentic. Clear communication. This should include the good things, the highlights, and the lowlights, essentially, because it is incredibly hard to change behaviors, even very, very minute changes to everyday workflows. It should not be underestimated how much time needs to be given and how much thought needs to be given. People are not homogenous groupings inside organizations. Every single individual will be in a different place in regards to their thoughts, their feelings, their perspectives about AI and what it means for them and for their role. And as leaders inside your organizations, you should acknowledge that and be supportive. Going to touch on a little bit about risks. Now, these are reasonably generic risks, and I'll put them up here because they're applicable regardless of what type of organization you're in. In other words, they cut across industry. Ones that are really common, we touched on a while ago, around data privacy, because and that intersects with IP leakage, because quite often large language models, it's unclear about where the information has come from. So if a person inside your organization writes a report using a large language model and they publish it, they're not going to be confident about where the original source data came from. And that original source data may be that part of a lawsuit from a large language model and a major kind of content producer out there in the world. So being aware of that is really important. And then you get into things around data privacy, where an individual inside an organization may be trying to be entrepreneurial to get really rich information about a customer list, and they might pour all that customer information into a large language model, and that is putting private information into a large language model, and that is something that shouldn't be allowed. So this would all fall into responsible AI policies. IP leakage, so this comes back a little bit to, let's say, an example of if a person takes a company report, which might be confidential, and they put into a large language model to create their own summary report, they're going to be likely to be breaking a company policy unless it's a private large language model that a company has used. Brand damage and ethics, we've talked about this, whereby if a large language model creates information that's been hallucinated and that's published, and it's problematic in terms of it could be wrong, and that can cause a significant kind of brand damage, which we've all seen, I'm sure, in time. Security breaches, the cost of doing scaled attacks now, it's just going to be extremely cheap. So being aware of that, and again, educating your workforce around it. Skill shortages, everybody's going to struggle with this. They are struggling with this. There's a finite amount of AI experts, we'll say, in the world, and training people takes time. That is a reality. Putting in plans now to address that is important. Business model disruption. I believe that there's going to be major business model disruption across many, many industries. And lastly, something that sometimes organizations, they're not aware of this yet, but sometimes they believe that large language models, they're really being kind of creative, and they're not. They're actually just mimicking creativity. They're not reasoning. It's complete mimicry. And understanding that helps you make sure that you're able to use it to the best way possible for brainstorming and things like that. But making sure that you understand the subject matter, and the people that are using AI tools inside your organization, they have to understand the subject matter. Otherwise, you're unable to check the facts that are being come out from the system. So all this comes back to education. A lot of the conference talk today have been about the technology, so I'm purposefully steering away from technology today. I'm only going to touch on this briefly. So in regards to data assets, I said at the start that quite often there's a misconception that organizations need to sort out all of their data foundations in order to be able to get value from AI, and it simply isn't true. You need to get enough, you need to have enough data, enough volume of data that is usable and relevant for the specific use cases you're going after. When you want to scale up, then it is important to have more data, depending on how broad your use case is going, but it is not a blocker to get going. And whilst you're doing prototyping and piloting, you can be sorting out your data foundations in parallel. But again, you don't need to sort out all of your data foundations, just specific ones that are pertinent to the use cases you're going after. And therefore, it does not need to be a blocker in order to drive scale. When it comes to architecture, there are, beyond the scope of this conversation today, there are multiple different architecture patterns that can be used depending on the size of the company, the budgets available, the ambition, and the use cases. But the reality is that you do not need to unlock vast sums of money to make a difference and unlock value from AI. And whatever architectural pattern you go after today, you're going to be changing it. So building in flexibility from the outset and not locking into one specific technology ecosystem, that's what really matters, so that you can be agnostic to the hyperscalers that you're going to be using, and you're able to change as the whole landscape changes around you. When it comes down to operating models, I talked a little while about a while ago about buy versus build for platforms or companies, and these trade-offs will continue. It's worth having a very simple checklist in order to make decisions about what should you buy versus build. And at a really simple level, you should only be looking to build the things that truly differentiate your organization and literally buying the rest. And when it comes into data and AI governance, again, having transparency about what has happened, who has touched something in relation to data, becomes a part of your responsible AI framework, because there will be issues. And if you're having complete recording of everything that's happening and every prompt that's been put in, there's an understanding about where did that prompt cut in, what were the results come out. It allows you to have better feedback loops and full traceability the whole way down the line. And that's the beginning of responsible AI, is transparency and complete record of everything that's been done. There's a lot of information on this slide, so I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm just going to touch on a few of the patterns. So 2023, 2024, a lot of the focus was on simple inputs and simple outputs using a GUI such as a chatbot, so ChatGPT itself. And I believe in 2025 that there'll be less of a demand around prompt engineering, because I think a lot of the enterprise applications such as Salesforce and things like that, they're just going to have essentially prompts baked into it. So there'll be less of a need to become really, really expert in prompt engineering. I believe agentic AI is going to be enormous this year and next year. And a lot of the focus in the last couple of years has been on large language models, which are, by their very nature, they're general, they're generic, essentially. They've hoovered up pretty much all the information that's freely available on the internet. Small language models, I believe, will be what really drives a lot of value this year. So that a small language model might be in different verticals such as legal or healthcare or something like that. And when you begin to mix large language models and small language models, you get a lot more power. So I believe we'll see a lot more of that. And I think that hyper personalization is going to become the norm in every single industry. I think the expectations of what services are provided and how fast services are provided will dramatically increase. So that's the end of the talk, but I am going to just touch on a few things in the appendices as we have a couple of minutes left. And this, again, this is all about the practicalities from how you're moving from pilots to scaled adoptions. And I'm not going to talk to you all. This is more for a takeaway, essentially. So this is the use case scoring matrix, and it allows anybody to very rapidly get a sense of how do you go, which use cases go after, which ones are going to make a difference materially for an organization. Now, this use case scoring matrix can be obviously adjusted depending on industry and depending on context, but it gives you a starting point to make sure that there's an objective and consistent approach to ensure that you're continuously prioritizing which use cases to go after, rather than things that appear on the surface to be worth going after or following the crowd. It allows you to cut through a lot of noise. You can get through hundreds of use cases in a couple of hours and very quickly figure out what should you go after. And you weight this as well. So things like, difficulty of scaling is a part of the scoring. Now, corresponding to that, to the previous scoring matrix, this is a use case assessment criteria whereby you begin to really ask yourself difficult questions about what are you going after and why. So by applying different lenses in relation to scoring a use case, but also looking at the use case business value assessment, this is another way of looking at this, is almost a business case essentially. And by providing these templates to your teams, adjusting them slightly so they're relevant for your organization, but allows you to get better quality requests to go after use cases. So there's less synthesis and distillation that needs to be done. because you'll have higher quality information that's being provided to you in the first place. So I'm hoping that these tools will be quite useful for you all. And that is going to be the end of my talk. As I say, I'm Mark. I'm the co-founder and director of Amplify and Impact. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Well, I'm very happy to answer any questions if there are any in the comments. Kieran, back to you.
Are there any questions? I think it's perfect. Thank you very much for your great presentation, Mr. Mark.
You're very welcome. Goodbye, all.
Our next speaker is Michelle King. Michelle is currently pursuing artificial intelligence in business at Oxford University. She is graduated with an EMBA from CIEBS and was granted direct PhD in precision instruments and robotics. Former, she is a vice president, GM, and global strategy consultant at global Fortune 500 companies, specialized in supporting manufacturing companies in profit improvement and digital transformation. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Michelle King.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
As it's visible.
Okay, thank you. So, hello everyone. I'm Michelle. Today I'm going to share with you the key barriers to the large-scale AI adoption in manufacturing and 6 strategies to enhance the human-AI collaboration in manufacturing. So, about myself, I'm currently studying AI for business in Oxford University, and I'm also running a startup company in AI for business. Before that, I was the vice president and general manager in global 500 industrial companies. And before that, I used to manage 17 manufacturing companies in Asia Pacific region. And my education background is direct PhD in precision instrument robotics. And also I have 2 master degrees, one in business management, one in AI. I think that is a short introduction about myself. So today, I think the agenda I try to cover are the following. So why I chose this subject as AI for manufacturing. The second is what are the key values and barriers we have today global-wise about AI in manufacturing, and what are the solutions we can see from the data we can collect today. And what will be the frame where we can use to enhance or implement AI in manufacturing. So the first question is why I chose the subject as AI in manufacturing. So if you look at this summary from Gartner, you can see that although AI is not implemented in manufacturing on large scale, we can probably see, well, now I probably see a little bit AI in manufacturing. However, if we look at the overall AI impact to all the industries, manufacturing will be the top impact industries in the coming years. So that is number one. That will be the highest impact in all the industries around us. So that is why it's so important. We know that it's going to happen and we should plan for that. The second part is this is about to grow fast at 44% CAGR in the coming years. So this is, I will say, extremely high speed comparing with all the say the normally 5% growth in the industries around us. And from the data I have on hand on say AI in in computer vision, we can see already global-wise, this industry is growing at a 25% CAGR. This is also a number that we cannot ignore because no matter we like it or not, it is happening. So I think that is the 2 data I want to put you on the same page about what is happening, without our notification, and what is going to have a major impact in the future. So the second part is why it is so AI will bring tremendous value to the manufacturing industry. Oh, I will say this is quite simple that we can see that functional-wise, AI will augment the human physical capabilities. And from the efficiency-wise, it will bring high efficiency. And from the quality-wise, it will avoid the say the ignorance, the unstabilization of the human behavior. It will quite stable the quality performance of the product, and it can offer 24 times 7 hours of service. And it will reduce waste because you can have in-process control and in-process quality, and in-process manufacture quality assurance. So, and the other part is it is going to bridge the barriers between, say, today we see a lot of barriers cross functions or across companies, etc. It will bring a fast connectivity in cross functions, across industries, cross companies. However, with all these values, it will all go into wrong direction if it is not focused on human. So that is why we say, you know, despite all the values we have, we can see AI will bring to the manufacturing industry. The most important, the core to implement this strategy or to utilize this technology is to put human in the center and use these technologies to augment the human's intelligence and human's physical capabilities. So that is I would say, the tone we would propose to implement AI in manufacturing. And then people will ask, what are the key barriers we see in the implementation? So I will put it in the 3 sectors. One is about ethics and regulation. So we probably see that if we, a lot of people say we can use AI to replace people. That I will say that's a typical ethical question, is because we want people to be served, we want people to be augmented. We don't want AI to replace people because human is rare and very creative value. And from my personal experience in leading the manufacturing industry, I can tell you that I do see factories that have 100% or 99% automation 20 years ago, because AI itself has history about 60 years. So 20 years ago, there are already some companies being so aggressive that they replace, you know, maybe 90% of the factories into robots. However, after 20 years, if you look at that factory again, you will see all the outdated, you know, legacy technology, which you have no idea how to use these machines. So that is why it's so important that we always put human as the leadership, put human in the center of all this automation and digitalization. So that is talking about the ethics. However, today ethics is the main, we say, top concerns about all this implementation of AI in manufacturing, because people are worrying about losing jobs. All right, because must be something wrong in our implementation strategy. Second part is about regulation. I don't want to mention further about that because there are already introductions about this regulatory impact to the AI business already. And the second part is about, you know, from the business perspective, we need to be aware that from business, we need to know that we want to have the customized solution to meet all the required requirements from the industries. And we also want to have a high volume so that we can maximize the value of the business. Without this chip, if AI cannot offer a customized solution to the business, it will not succeed. If AI cannot make money for the business, it will not succeed. So from both sides, we need to know how to manage the profitability and also the scalability of this of the AI technology. And the third part is about AI technology itself, is how to implement AI technology. Should we have a systematic, or we say large scale implementation of AI everywhere, or we should focus on certain niche market? The second part is about today. A lot of people complain about the efficiency. Say, well, if I go to some AI server or platform, it goes so slowly, and the calculation takes time, and it is not efficient today. So instead of using AI or spend years of data collection to train a model, I prefer to use human. So I think that these are all the challenges we see today to implement AI in manufacturing. And ask Kissinger said that if you don't know where you're going, so every road will get you nowhere. So that is, I say today, I want to discuss with you all about where are we going and how we can go together successfully. So if we go to the 6 strategies one by one, which is to basically solve the challenges of, to answer the questions I raised just now. The first part is about regulation. So when I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, or especially AI startups, they are worrying or concerning about the limitation or constraint from the regulation. However, I would offer a different view that we should utilize this regulation, because it seems that the governments or the public have already helped us to identify the main concerns from our customers or main risks we will face when we implement AI. So instead of against the regulation or try to avoid following the regulation, I would say that let's utilize it and utilize all these regulations in data, regulations about education, about the environment management, environment security, and to implement this AI. It will give us a long-term success instead of, say, maybe short-term increase of the sales, however, higher risk in the future. And the second part is on the right, you will see that this is a survey coming from 632 companies about why, after they implement AI, these projects failed in the companies. So what are the main failure reasons of the AI implementation in manufacturing? So we can see that the top 2, if we don't talking about they don't know how to implement or deploy the AI technology, the top 1, it will be the concerns about the AI ethics, right? Fairness and the buyers. So I think this is something we must face, and we must plan in advance about how to put human in the center, how to train our people, train our employees to enable them to use AI technology, and how to design our AI solution to manifest the human's creativity and really have all the human employees to become a superhero or Superman in the AI implementation or in manufacturing. So I think that is second part. I want to say that when you plan for AI implementation in manufacturing, we need to focus, or we say, first, make sure that a human must be accountable for all the results of AI decisions. So that is first thing. Second part is we need to always respect the feelings of our employees and get their buy-in. Because our experience shows that if we don't have buy-in from your employees, even they being forced to implement the AI, you will always go into trouble in certain. Oops, can you still see my screen? Oh my, okay, it's back. So let me share again.
Yeah, please share it.
Okay. Sorry. So I think the second part is we must have the buy-in from our employees, because there will be lots of uncertainties and risks if we don't use our employees' insight to implement and deploy the AI implementation together with us. And the third part is to about delegation of decision-making process. We also need to understand which part of decision can be delegated and which cannot. So that is the also the suggestion given about how to respect ethics and to assure our success in AI in manufacturing. And then we talk about the business. According to the big data, or probably a lot of people know that once in any disruptive innovation, once there is a dominant design or dominant solution come up, and there will be a lot of we will see a boom of the revenue of both demand and supply. So that is what we say, that when we try to implement AI solution, we need to focus on those technologies or those design that is close to the dominant solutions. And instead of trying at the very beginning phase, you can try many solutions. However, it will be mainly the dominant design will help us to get the maximum volume from customers. However, it is also important for us to understand that if we ignore this dominant design technology, and once our competitors use them, or once it is launched in society, no matter we like it or not, it will replace the existing technology. So just like digital camera replace the traditional cameras, and just like all these IoTs digitalizations, it will just happen once technology has become a dominant technology solution. So we need to always be aware about what is coming up about the new technology, especially in the AI age. The second part is we need to utilize all these technologies and get ready to utilize these technologies. So that is about the second part is how to maximize the value of AI and make our business profitable. So that is about the profitability. And about the cost of AI. There are a lot of, so when I talk to many entrepreneurs, when they talk about AI, they probably only know ChatGPT or Copilot. So this kind of large language model. However, I would like to bring on the table that there are multiple types of AI solutions. We don't have to always use the supervised learning because in some cases, it might not be the best solution to solve the problem. So we need to have the confidence and the knowledge about the available AI solutions or AI technologies. And with the proper combination of these solutions, we can dramatically reduce the cost of this AI solution. Otherwise, if everybody only use large language model, it will just burn too much energy and waste too much resources unnecessarily. So that is important that every company need to have the confidence to identify what are the right AI technology for your company instead of just simply adopt the large language model or use this because it's too expensive to always use large language model in all the scenarios. And then the fifth part about technology, about whether we should go to we should implement AI in every processes of our company. When we call all in AI, is it necessary that we start to turn over our current process and 100% use AI to replace them? So here I would remind or put it on discussion that because AI, it is a mimic, is a replacement, always a simulation about the human intelligence. So you can imagine how large its impact will be because the companies are all about the human, the customers are all about the human. So it is in our view that I will recommend that we focus on small implementation of AIs in certain replacement. I won't recommend to have a large scale implementation or adoption of AI solutions everywhere. So that is the recommendation here, that we should be aware that very tiny mimic of the human intelligence can create a huge amount of impact to the society and to the company as well. So I can also demonstrate that later in the example. And the sixth part is about the why today we see a lot of concern about the calculation efficiency or about the AI technology. Because if you look at the right hand, there are two charts. On top one, the green line represents the very famous Moore's law. So that means all the semiconductors are going to have twice capacity in every 2 years. However, if you look at the transformer, the requirement of transformer is about 750 times growth in every 2 years. So in other words, the very famous model is not suitable to support our requirement for AI computation power. So, and also the bottom chart on the right is also showing the red line is about the requirements from deep learning, and the gray line representing our capability in hardware development. So in other words, no matter from the hardware development or from the overall requirements for computing power from the transformer and deep learning, we do not have enough capacity to be wasted. So that is the sixth strategy. We say that we would like to reduce our requirement to the computation power, computation burden, and utilize the AI technology and to design the proper solution to use AI to replace the repetitive works. So to summarize it all, when we look at or when we evaluate the solutions offered from the maybe consulting company or AI company, I would recommend to follow this ETB model. This is my personal my design about the framework when I used in the consultancy and in supporting business in the digital transformation. So it will be ETB, which means that from ethics, from business, from technology perspective, to evaluate this solution that you offer to the customers or you are going to adopt to your company. So for every category, it will be you will evaluate the impact from the complementary angles. For ethics, evaluate from the regulatory and from moral, and from business, evaluate from the business growth opportunity and from the cost you're going to pay. And from technology-wise, evaluate the efficiency of your technology solution and the reach of your scalability of your technology. So that will be the ETB model you can use in your future implementation of AI strategy. So about us, we are a small group organized in launched at Oxford University in Q4 last year. So around 4 months so far. So we are the business savvies. We are problem solver because we are keen to explore business opportunities from all the big data, from the market intelligence, and we try to find the best business opportunities for companies. And from we are also problem solvers because we try to use the leading technology of AI to support the business to solve their burning issues. And we are also technology geek because we are part of the Oxford Computer Science Machine Learning Institution. So where we are going to continue to explore the opportunities of new technology of AI and to find the best solutions. So our working model follows research, and we going to use this research output to plan the implementation to solve problems of business and to help business to grow fast as much as possible. And we use project management team to implement all these projects following our AI-human collaboration model. And we are going to monitor the efficiency of this implementation and to continuously support the business to succeed. So the example just showed is one example about we have developed recently about the computer vision inspection solution. So we can see that it's only a tiny replacement of traditional inspection process into and by using AI to enhance it. However, the application scenarios can cover lots of industries and improve efficiency everywhere. So this is just one example to show that how we combine standardized solution in AI visual inspection to support the customized needs in every industries. And one thing to emphasize is because the normal computer vision inspection solutions in the world today is using supervised learning. And this solution basically requires all the companies to accumulate the defect samples to, say, millions or trillions in order to train the model. However, the technology we use is to have 0 defect samples, so which enables us to train the model quickly and implement on large scale in every industry. So this is just one example how to implement the 6 strategies I mentioned just now into one tiny solution. Yeah, this is my LinkedIn address and my email address. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn or send me emails if you have any questions or any comments. And now I'm part here to see if any questions about this sharing.
Are there any questions? Thank you very much for your great presentation, Ms. Shen.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Michael Glaros. Mr. Michael is a founder of Atomis Industries and a recognized leader in information security, enterprise blockchain, and AI solutions. He is known for his innovative approach and collaborative style. Michael has been instrumental in developing strategies that enhance security, compliance, and operational efficiency, driving significant advancements in his field. At Microsoft for a decade, Michael served as a principal program manager with the Microsoft Cloud Industry AI team. He initiated a customer success program that fostered generative AI solution incubations for over 300 enterprise customers, ISVs, and SA partners, with 50 plus launching as commercial products on the Azure marketplace. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Mr. Michael Glaros.
Thank you very much, Karen. Great to be here. And let me get the screen set up and make sure everything comes through okay. Let's see.
It's okay.
It's okay? Great. Let's see if we can get to full screen.
Yeah,
And hopefully that's okay.
it's perfect now.
Wonderful. So I wanted to start talking today sort of less about technology, because really what we're showing here today doesn't necessarily need you to be an expert in particular models or particular aspects of it, but rather what we're seeing is a lot of friction in AI adoption because the structure and the business problem ideation is not well suited to the pace of the technological change. So we see, especially coming out of a lot of the hyperscalers, for instance, the folks like Microsoft and Google and Meta, there's this sort of space race that's going on in terms of generative AI efficacy, innovation. But I think the issue is that it's leaving behind the business. So what we want to really talk about is sort of this hypothesis around the lack of emphasis on structuring the use cases, the lack of emphasis on understanding the business problems to be solved is really the primary point of friction that's holding back generative AI adoption and really preventing people from getting the most out of these investments. And so what we're thinking is really breaking the problem down into kind of 2 key areas. One is this idea of strategic opportunity. So what's ultimately the business strategy? So if you're thinking about making an investment in generative AI, if you're thinking about getting into these emerging technology spaces, how do those line up to the strategic opportunities that your business is interested in? And then second, what are the execution potentials? Because what you really have to think through is things like the availability of data, the various regulatory and compliance regimes, the skills development capacity. If you end up developing a solution, do you have the staff on hand to maintain it and to ensure a primary and a well-behaved operating experience going forward? So we're going to look at these 2 in detail to give you some ideas and some frameworks of how I can think about my strategic opportunity. How do I then think through and map out the execution potential? And can those 2 be very important decision frameworks so that if I had, let's say, a series of 5 or 10 different ideas that I was thinking about for investment, could I potentially compare those given these 2 variables? So let's have a look. So first, the overall kind of framework is designed to really give us some techniques to break down potential use cases. Because a lot of times when I go talking to software companies or businesses about what use cases for generative AI they're considering, they'll say, "Oh, Michael, we put together a list. We have 100 different use cases we're considering." And when you're at that level, when you have all these ideas, it's great for ideation. It's wonderful to start the process to just really start to write things down that generative AI could do for your business. But to really make the most of that prioritization and to really start to accelerate ideas forward, you have to have a more structured approach. And we're going to talk about what that looks like. Next, it's got to be cross-functional. You can't just have technologists having the conversation about what makes a good use case because they're going to really perhaps lose sight of the business priorities. Likewise, you can't just have business leaders that really don't quite grasp the technical nuances and capacity that's available with this technology because it's changing so fast. So you have to have both seats at the table. You have to have a cross-functional team that looks at business and technology implications of the use cases you're considering. And then finally, it's helpful to have one eye towards what announcements are coming out. Certainly there are every day, it seems like maybe new press releases and new announcements in terms of what are some generative AI things that are actually showing up in market, and is there some inspiration there that you can draw from some of those things? So first thing is, let's start on the strategy side of things. So we mentioned there's these two aspects we're going to keep looking at, which is strategic opportunity, execution potential. On the strategy side, we really try to break it down because the idea here is imagine you have a workshop that could be executed in a day. We're not talking about an exhaustive management consulting expensive study where you have to come in and interview dozens of people and prepare really comprehensive total addressable market analysis. No, we're not talking about any of that. We're saying get a couple of stakeholders in a room and really think about strategy from these 5 points of view. What are the specific business problems that those stakeholders are looking to solve? What about that current state process is really unsatisfactory? Is it error prone? Is it overly manual? Is it perhaps not scalable given the demands on the team? What are then the ideas to potentially solve that problem? And this is where you could start to say, we believe that a generative AI solution that helps with summarization or helps with reasoning over a large document collection or helps with generating new concepts on the fly. That's where that product hypothesis comes into play. The business objectives, what are these, if we think about that combination, problem solution, it's a lot like prompt and response. That combination ultimately should align with a specific set of business objectives. So what are those and how good do we feel about that alignment? How do we think about then the key results? We have to go, even at this stage in ideation, we should have some idea of what the key results we're trying to achieve. Are we looking to do something that's more accurate, that's faster, that's cheaper, that's more reliable? What are those key measures that we're looking for? Because ultimately what we want to be in a position to do is design experiments. We want to have a testable hypothesis at the end of this that really shows the way as to whether or not this generative AI use case is right for launching or not. And then finally, who is going to be the sponsor that oversees, that makes sure we have the resource for support and then the executive oxygen needed to sustain this? Because along the way, we may have failures, we may have hypotheses that are disproven, and we may need to pivot. And so who's going to be that champion to see us through as we start to accumulate these learnings? We've actually put together a template for this. So the way that we bring this up, and again, because this is really well suited to a workshop format. So imagine you have for a one-day workshop, let's say 3 to 5 of these types of ideas, and this cross-functional team can sort of work through this template where they can really think about, again, and it's really important to stay to this kind of constrained format. You don't necessarily want a really comprehensive report, but just listing 5, 6 bullets of the problems to solve, and then a corresponding 5, 6 bullets of the solution hypotheses. the business objectives, the key results, and so forth. And we'll actually see this filled out with some examples. But this is a template you could take away, you could screenshot this, and you could start to have this as the basis to use this as an evaluation criteria for your potential generative AI or even any type of AI solutions that you're looking to invest in. The goal here too is, the reason we use these kind of approaches, these templates, we're not necessarily looking for the most elegant, groundbreaking idea. What we're really looking to drive is we're thinking about this from a product development perspective, and we're really looking to learn. We want to shape up really solid experiments that teach us whether or not this concept has commercial viability, has commercial potential. And that's really tied to these three kind of levers that we're seeing across these conversations, which is kind of the business value, the desirability from an end user perspective. Does it really transform their day? If we look at those pairings of problems and solutions, is that the type of thing that a user would look at and say, yes, I would definitely benefit from that? And then ultimately that execution potential, that's really anchored in the technology feasibility. So then let's talk about that execution potential. So this is where these two things really start to shine. So the business value potential really is three things: how well it tactically aligns to the business goals. Is there clear articulation of value, either in terms of cost savings or new revenue? And then how do we think about the change management or the time to value based on the level of training and adoption the end users are going to have to take a part in? From that perspective of user experience, we really should have one key persona. This is a key learning that we found, is that if you have use cases and you try to make those use cases touch too many different users, it's going to be really problematic to measure the change management and to try and effectively orchestrate change management across 5 or 6 different user personas. If instead you adopt this sort of rigorous standard that says one use case, one persona, you have a much better chance of success, because now you can really tie the change management and the adoption and the training and all the human elements can really be focused on that one particular user role. Appeal versus the alternatives. You really want to think about, again, these users, I very rarely come across an AI use case that's net new. It's usually you're taking an existing business process and you're optimizing it using AI. Given that's the case, and given the fact that users are already comfortable and established and reliant on the work that they're doing today and the way it happens, you're asking them to do something net new. It really has to be appealing. It really has to be attractive for them to switch off of the current way things are working. And then, of course, the technical feasibility. We think about the operational risks. These could be security risks. These could be accuracy and operational risks. These could be safeguards. They could be compliance risks. We then need to think about the mitigations that are available. How readily available are those mitigations? How reliable are those mitigations? And then finally, we have to think about, is AI truly necessary? Because if it turns out we've got an idea that can be solved with perhaps existing, more proven, more established technology, we really have to have a hard conversation with, is AI the right solution in this case? So let's look at some examples. So in this case here, let's imagine, say, that we've got a typical corporate procurement department. And this procurement department does things like they look after the contracts with the suppliers, they look at sort of the pricing, the agreements, the terms, the products. And what we're really trying to do instead is, especially if it's a complicated supply chain with lots of different potential vendors and lots of different potential parts and items available on offer, how do we do things where we could perhaps take more advantage of natural language? So what if we had sort of a procurement assistant, a procurement agent, if you will, that the corporate buyer could easily use interactive natural language to search the product catalog, make sure the appropriate business and purchasing terms are in place, and then make sure that there is appropriate quality and service level agreements that are in place after the fact to make sure that customer satisfaction is high. And this could also be things like maybe extended out into sort of an e-commerce and e-business realm as well. So let's take that latter. And let's say, for instance, well, what if it was e-commerce? What if it was something like an online store? So you have purchasing that takes place, and maybe it's something where end customers are currently having difficulty discovering products. So we've all been in this habit of where you go to an online marketplace and you have to use the exact search term to find the product, and then you get a listing of 20 different products, and you have to go back and forth, and maybe it's not a great buying experience. Wouldn't it be great if I just had a prompt bar, natural language, I could type that in? But staying on the problem side for a minute, customers also aren't receiving the personalized recommendations. So maybe what's happening is I'm doing the search and it's more of a generic result that I get back. So what the sponsor here says is, well, what if we did have that natural language review? What if we did have the ability where the chatbot could access my order history, access the availability, the inventory of products available, and serve me up with really tailored recommendations based on the cues, based on sort of what I'm providing, but also based on my order history. We think then that if this were in place, the business objectives we could drive off of it were increased customer satisfaction. We could have a better storytelling experience because the narrative and that chat experience, that conversational like experience I have with this purchasing agent is going to be much richer than if I just have a listing of specific items like you typically see in the normal e-commerce storefront. And then in theory, we should be able to have a bigger purchase interaction because now it's things like, oh, hey, since you're shopping for shoes, let me tell you about these great socks and some trousers that might go very well with that. We also talked about then key results. This is what I mean. It's very important to already establish hypotheses about we want to see that 15% increase in basket size. We want to see repeat buyers because they really had a very engaging experience through the conversational aspect. So this is the type of level of detail that when we talk about having a use case, and we talked earlier on in the conversation about, yeah, I've got this listing of maybe 100 different ideas. Well, imagine instead, what if I had that capability for each one of those use cases, maybe instead of 100 different ideas, I compress that down to 10, but for each of those 10, I have this level of framing on the strategic opportunity. Next, let's talk about that execution potential. So we talked strategy, we modeled it and plotted it in that fashion. Now let's go to execution. Again, our three variables: business value, user experience, technical feasibility. Business value, we really want to improve. Again, these are very, very pointed, very targeted. And what's really helpful is when you have that cross-functional team in the room, you want to encourage debate. You want to make sure that everybody in the room gets to a place of consensus so that for each use case, you have one of these strategy slides, one of these execution slides. So that way, when you make your decision framework, it's a very clear evaluation. So what's sort of that technical alignment you see there, the bullet, the value creation, we think it's going to increase revenue, and we have a very firm position on change management. On the experience side of things, again, we really nailed down this one persona that we're going to hunt with this use case. We really think that they're going to be motivated to adopt this new technique because of this sort of personalized experience. And we're hoping that the barrier to entry is relatively low. Now, on the operational side or the feasibility side of things, we do have some things to overcome. We have to think about privacy. We have to think about the model accuracy. We want to make sure that the model is not going to recommend, if I'm asking about socks and the model is recommending jackets, that's of course going to be a problem. So then this gets us to a place where if we pair these two together, so we have strategy modeled out, we have execution potential modeled out, and if I do this across a number of different use cases, I can see here now I've added this strategic fit piece there in the lower right. I get a qualitative scale. So again, using that conversational workshop format, we could talk about, well, given these array of problem, solution, hypothesis, business objective, and key results, how do I think on a scale of 1 to 5, qualitative analysis, where do I put this use case? Same thing on the execution side of things. Given business value, experience value, and technical feasibility, scale to 1 to 5, how do I feel about those? And if I did this for, let's say, 4 or 5 different use cases over the course of a workshop, I could end up with a plot like this, and I could have a really effective conversation where at the end of the session, we could basically break and say, okay, we feel pretty good that we evaluated 3 to 5 different use cases. We used this criteria that was just flexible enough. It was just rigid enough where we basically did due diligence. We did our business due diligence. We did our technical due diligence to figure out what's the right model. Not too heavy. It doesn't feel like an exhaustive management consulting study, yet it's also not too light where we're able to actually ask some really hard questions of the use case. And then based on this, we have a really solid recommendation. Yes, let's try to drive that one use case to MVP to generate the learnings and see where we can go there. So that's really kind of the essence of what we wanted to share with you all today. Happy to take questions. I mean, we have, you know, other materials as well, but here's some ways to reach me. Would love to continue the conversation. Would love to hear if there's any questions, Kieran, from anybody. But again, thank you all for the opportunity.
Are there any questions? Thank you very much for a great presentation, Mr. Michael.
Thanks all.
Our next speaker is Dr. Deshinta Arora Devi. Dr. Deshinta is an accomplished academic and researcher specializing in data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. She has extensive experience in applying AI to various fields, particularly in predictive analytics and intelligent systems. With a passion for advancing technology, Deshinta has contributed to numerous publications and collaborative projects, bridging the gap between AI theory and practical applications. As an educator, she is dedicated to mentoring the next generation of innovators, inspiring students through her expertise and hands-on teaching approach. Deshinta continues to drive research that has a significant impact on both academia and industry. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Dr. Deshinta Arora Devi.
Hello, everyone. Good. It's great to be here. Good day. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, that's great. So I would like to share my screen. All right. Is this visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Good day, everyone. So my name is Deshinta Arora Devi. I'm from INTI International University, Malaysia. And today I would like to share about one of our research that carried out in our university. It is intelligent fruit selection and grading in the new era of the data science. Little bit introduction of myself. So I started my career as a senior lecturer, started from 2003 until 2020, and then start from 2020 during Corona time. I changed my pathway into become researcher in the university. So this is my profile, and I'm open for the collaboration. Mostly my research or my projects are aligned with the sustainable development goals, and I'm open for the collaboration. You can just write to my email, deshinta.ad@uinti.edu.my. Thank you. For today's agenda, I would like to start with the introduction. Then after that, we will see data science and machine learning in the agriculture, followed by the importance of the accurate fruit grading, and then leveraging the computer vision technique for the fruit grading, followed by the robust AI models for accurate fruit classification. Then we will see some future trends and emerging technologies in the intelligent agriculture. And I would like to show you our paper that has been published in the Scopus Journal Q2 in 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia agriculture sector is a key part in the country, and Malaysia is leading producer for the rubber and palm oil, and also the world largest producer for cocoa. For the key commodities, there are 7 key commodities in Malaysia, whereby fruits, it is placed at number 5. So there are many research that are focusing on these key commodities. In terms of the economic impact, in 2022, agriculture contributed to the 6.6% to Malaysia's GDP, And then the agricultural sector increased by more than 22% in 2022. And also the poultry industry contribution to the GDP reached around 10 billion Malaysian ringgit. So this is where our research basically try to contribute to the country by doing some research in the key commodities. When we talk about fruit grading in Malaysia, the challenge is about traditional fruit grading that majorly the fruit grading remains laborious and subjective. It's relying on the human judgment and also manual sorting. So it leads to the some of the issue, for example, subjectivity and inconsistency due to the variation of the quality assessment, and also time consuming, make it slow and inefficient, and also difficult to scale for the large production when we focus on the human judgment. And we have also sometimes human fatigue or errors. This is where the workers experienced by the workers, and it leading to the misclassification or decreased accuracy. High costs due to the operational expenses, lack of the standardization, and also limited on the feature detection. For example, we may miss subtle defects, internal quality, and also hidden damages on the fruits. Along with the rise of the data science and machine learning in agriculture, this is where the researchers in Malaysia, they are trying to come out with the data-driven insights that embracing the massive data set and also computational power. And this is where AI comes to as a solution to the problems, and the technology has transformed the agricultural practices, including the food selection and also grading. So by having the AI power solution, it can optimize the efficiency and the quality of the product. Defining intelligent fruit and grading, basically we focus on the automated selection. So this is where the AI power system will analyze the fruit characteristics. It is usually, depending on the technology, usually we use a camera, or we use image processing to process. And this is where the feature of the fruit, the one that we focus is for size, the shape of the fruit, the color, and also defects, if any. So this is the characteristics that determine the fruit quality and grade. And after the automated selection, we also relate with the real-time decision making. So this is where the systems somehow make rapid and accurate decision more consistent based on the predefined criteria, and also enabling the efficient and also consistent grading compared to the traditional ones that I have explained earlier. The importance of the accurate the fruit grading, basically we see in terms of the quality assurance. So this is where accurate grading will ensure the customer receive the fruit that meets the market expectation. So Inti International University is located in Negeri Sembilan Province, close to the Kuala Lumpur International Airport. And here in Nilai City, in my place, we have 3 or 4 supermarkets, and we can identify which supermarkets that basically can provide fresh fruit with the consistent quality. So we have certain supermarkets. So we have, just say we have A, B, C, D. So if we want to go to the local fruits, then we will go to the B. If, for example, we want to have important fruits with a good quality, then we will go to the A supermarket, some things like that. So in Nilai area, basically, we can based on their process, based on their operational apply to the organization or the company, so we can see the results, and this is where people know where to go. So somehow we want to help the industry to make sure that they can have consistent fruit grading, so that it can reach the customer on time and also to meet the market expectation. And of course, the quality insurance will determine the market value. So the higher quality fruits, definitely it they will go with the premium price, boosting profitability, not only for the distributor, but also for the farmers. So this is where we look into this problem, and we try to help to boost the local economy, especially in the Nilai area. So about optimizing the fruit quality and consistency, this is where we identify three AI three processes that can be empowered with the AI. So the first one, we have research that are focusing on the early detection. So this is why AI system can identify the issue earlier, preventing further deterioration. Early detection, we start from the field of meeting the farmer. Then after that, looking at their problems in terms of harvesting the fruit. Then after that, how to prevent the fruits from the disease and to maintain the quality. So this is our research also comes to the early detection. Number two, we also focus on the targeted intervention. So this is where farmers can adjust in terms of the irrigation, fertilization, pest control measure. This is also based on AI insights to improve the fruit quality. So we have several projects also in place to help the local farmer for the targeted intervention. So what we did was using Internet of Things. Then after that, we also employ the cloud computing, and where we store all the analysis and also the data. Then after that, things are manageable or accessible through mobile apps, so they can check the quality of the irrigation, fertilization, and so on from remotely. And the third one is enhance the yield. So by optimizing the fruit quality, the farmers can increase the overall yield and improve the marketability of their crops. So this is how we do the optimization on the fruit quality and consistency. And also, the impact, it can reduce the waste and improving the supply chain efficiently. So we can minimize the spoilage. This is where AI-driven reduce waste by identify and remove the fruits, the damaged fruit or substandard fruit from the entire supply chains. So beside that, we also have streamline the logistic. Efficient grading enable seamless movement of fruit along the supply chain, and also it lead to the cost saving. So by reducing the waste and optimizing the logistic, the farmers and also distributors achieve a significant cost saving. So not only that, we have also research about route optimization and also load optimization. So we want to help the farmers or distributors to identify the best route, the shortest pathway from the farmer field to the retailers. So, and then how many fruits that has been harvested on that day or on that period of time. So we can help them with identify how many vehicles are necessary to be adopted or to help distribution of the fruits. So we have some research also looking at that area, finding the shortest pathway. And beside that, the research, we can see that it can enhance the profitability of the farmers and distributor. So it increase the revenue by reducing the post-harvest losses and ensuring the fair market price, and enhance the efficiency. So this one also to reduce the labor cost, optimize the resource allocation, and minimize the waste, contribute to the to enhance the efficiency, and to improve the market access as well. So consistent quality and reliability supply chain will attract the premium buyers and expand the market access. So basically, if we can accelerate the process of sorting and also grading the fruit, so if we can minimize this time, we can ensure that the fruits are able to send to the retailers or the customer in the shortest period of time, so they will receive fresh fruit in hand. So this is the one that would like to help the local farmers in our area. Talking about the techniques of the fruit grading from the traditional to automated, previously it is non-visual approaches that it is applied. So starting from the aroma, so they use, smell to grade the fruit, whether this is in a good condition or it has been deteriorated. So this is where they will remove from the market, or they're going to sell the damaged fruit with the less price. So this is based on aroma. Otherwise, some of the farmers, they use chemical analysis to grade the fruit. So which one is grade A, B, C? So they are going to place or label the price on the fruits accordingly. And also they use tactile impression, so use touch to grade the fruit. So basically this is the non-visual approaches. And this is where we start looking at the visual approaches, the technology to introduce to them, from the manual inspection to visual. So this is where we incorporate the image processing and also computer vision to grade fruit based on the size, based on the shape, color, and also texture. Of course, it involves several algorithms in order to do that. We try to help the farmer to just place the fruit, for example, on the conveyor. Then after that, we are going to place the camera on top. Then the camera will help them to identify which fruit that actually is still at the good shape or it is has been damaged. And also we have some research about the stereo vision. So the stereo vision here, we use two cameras. So cameras on top, on the left side and on the right side. This is where we want to predict the fruit grade by its size. So by having the two camera, we have some formula to determine what is the what they call the length, the height, and also the volume of the fruit. From there, we improve the accuracy of the algorithm. So by having the stereo vision, this one is less cost compared to the deep camera, which is a very costly here in Malaysia. So this is where by having the stereo vision system, employing the two just normal CCTV camera. So this is where we can predict what is the grade fruit by size. So in terms of the automated approaches, so we employ machine learning and deep learning algorithm to do that. So we use artificial neural network to automatically grade the fruit, and also computer vision. We use machine learning algorithms to grade fruit. Spectrometric sensor, we also employ some of the sensor, and also non-invasive sensing. So this one is another method to grade the fruit. So we hope that by helping, by making the process from non-visual approaches to automated approaches, so we can speed up the process of grading the fruit quality. In terms of leveraging computer vision and technique for fruit grading, this is where you look at the picture over here. So we have the camera on top, and then we have the fruits we just put into the conveyor. So the technique was the image capturing. Then after that, we use feature extractions, relevant feature extraction that can determine the grading and the size of the fruits. And we learn the pattern. Then after that, we do some classification. So when we have a variety of fruits in the conveyor, we can segregate which fruit that actually will go to a different type or different names of the fruit. But then after that, we have another process to grading the fruit. So sorting and grading is two different techniques that we implement into our research. So based on that, means that we employ two classification algorithm to differentiate the fruits, and after that to grade them based on the quality. So this is our research is about. Now, extracting the meaningful insight from the fruit imaging data, we go with the several methodologies, starting from the data collection, meaning the real fruits. We create a data set. Then after that, we create the model. Then after that, we testing for another fruits who comes after the next harvest. Then from the images that we capture, we do some data cleaning to remove the noise and so on. Then after that, we do some data analysis to make sure that our algorithm is in place and quite accurate in a way. Then after that, we do some visualization. So visualization basically using a dashboard. So this is where the farmers from their mobile apps, they are able to know how many fruits actually that they have harvested. Then after that, how many of them are actually in a good shape, grade A, B, C. So somehow they are able to monitor it. Integrating sensor and IoT device for real-time monitoring is the next level of our research. So this is where we want to contribute to the precision agriculture. This is where sensors, IoT device can provide real-time data for the fruit growth, environmental condition, and also another factor. So basically, we just want to make sure that everything is can be monitored. Then after that, we can do some intervention to make sure that we are able to maintain a good quality of fruits along the years before harvesting. Then after that, the data-driven insight, this is allow the farmers to make informed decisions from irrigation, fertilization. So we provide with the dashboard and also allow the agricultural practices to modify it according to their needs until they can even check for the supply chain management and so on. So from fruits from the field until retailers, we can track what is the journey of the fruit itself. Now, in terms of developing robust AI models for accurate fruit classification, so definitely we employ advanced machine learning technique, computer vision, high quality data set. This is very important because it will determine the enhanced classification precision. And the key components, for example, we use CNN for feature extraction, data augmentation, and also transfer learning. We use transfer learning because some of the models are suitable and even better to use transfer learning because it has been pre-trained earlier rather than we create ours one. So some of the case we use transfer learning, some of the case we just develop the customized algorithm following the data that we have collected from the fields. And also we have to ensure the robustness, for example, variation in lights, occlusion, different brightness stage, and so on. So this one basically things to measure the food's grades or the quality. And also integrating the IT sensor, edge computing to make sure that everything are integrated with the good internet connection, because having a good internet connection will help the farmers to check everything in real time. And also a well-optimized AI model will improve efficiency in the sorting, reduce human error, consistency, and also benefit for both producer and also consumer. So our coming challenges in the fruit grading automation, this one is to adapt the wide range of the fruit variety, including different sizes, shape, colors. Sometimes we having difficulties to identify whether this fruit are actually healthy or not, or having some disease. So some of the algorithm we are still working on that. And also landing condition need to be robust enough to handle rain, lightning. So for example, now in Malaysia in the rainy season, so we cannot go to the field to check. So we need to make sure that, after rainings finish, rainy season finish, then only we can start doing our data collection again. Food safety and traceability with AI-driven system is also another things to look at. So we have quality insurance. So this is why AI system can detect and identify contaminated or unsafe fruits, ensuring the compliance with the food safety standard. And also track and trace, which is I've explained earlier. This is why AI power system track fruit movement along the supply chain, providing detailed information on origin and also how it is handling. In terms of improving scalability and adaptability of fruit grading solution, this is can see from various approach from the modular design, cloud-based platform, and also adaptive learning. So modular can easily scale up, down to accommodate the volumes of fruits that we are having. And also cloud-based solution provide flexible access scalability. This is where we subscribe to the certain services. We use Amazon, AWS to analyze our data, to keep our data in the cloud-based storage. And also we have adaptive learning. So this is where AI system continuously learn and adapt to the new varieties. So we need to provide more and more data set to enrich data set to make sure that the machine learning that we have, it will be smarter in the future along the way. And of course, by having this, our purpose basically to empower the farmers with the intuitive or user interfaces. This is where we have real-time insights, decision support, and also simplified management. User-friendly interfaces are very important. We educate the farmers on how to monitor their product, starting from seeding until they harvest, in the agriculture. Then after that, decision support. This is enable farmer to make informed decision in terms of resource allocation, pricing, and other factors, and also simplified management. Soil power system streamline fruit grading process, reducing manual effort, and also simplify the management task because the data is shared. Everyone can monitor, and they can do some discussion online. What are the important intervention need to be done if something goes wrong somewhere. In terms of streamlining the quality control process, this is where we can increase the transparency and also customer satisfaction. So a driven system provide real-time data, increase the accountability, and also consistent and efficient handling, enhance customer satisfaction to build trust in the supply chain. Fostering collaboration between growers, distributors, and consumers. So this is in terms of data sharing and also to optimize supply chain. Everything is shared, and also we encourage the collaborative effort to make sure that it's reduce waste and also improve the supply chain management. In terms of ethical consideration, this is where AI-powered fruit grading is we focus on the fairness and transparency and also data privacy and security. So this is where data collected by a system should be protected and ensure privacy for farmers and consumers are in place. The future trend and emerging technologies, we can talk more in terms of precision robotics. So this is where in one of our project, we start doing adopting drone to monitor the land area. We have some of the plants that are very high, very difficult for us to monitor the leaf. So this is where we use the drone technology, which is one of the robot. And we also looking at the predictive analytics. So this way to predict the crop yields, the market demand, other factors, enabling farmer to make informed decision. And we hope that by doing this, it can support the sustainable agriculture, will drive sustainable agriculture practices, optimizing resources, and minimize the environmental impact. So our works, some of them has been published in the Scopus journal. This is one of the journal that we introduced the efficient fruit grading and selection system, leveraging computer vision and machine learning. It has been published in the Journal of Data Science, and it is grade Q2 in the Scopus ranking. And this is Inti, myself with students, and this is Malaysia. Thank you so much.
Are there any questions? Thank you very much for your great presentation, Dr. Deshinta. Our next speaker is Dr. Shakira Gazanfar. Dr. Shakira is a senior scientific officer at PRC under the Ministry of National Food Security and Research, Islamabad, Pakistan. She brings over 20 years of R&D expertise in microbiology and gut health. With a PhD in microbiology, she is a pioneer in applying AI to probiotics, postbiotics, antimicrobial resistance, and get microbiome studies. Her scholarly contributions include an H index of 24, I index of 46 with over 300 cumulative impact factor publications, and books published by CRC Press and Springer Nature. She is a holder of patents, copyrights, and design certificates in Pakistan and the UK. She seeks global collaborations and innovative AI challenges. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Dr. Shakira Ghazanfar.
Hello and assalamu alaikum from Pakistan Agriculture Research Center of Pakistan. Okay, thank you so much for inviting me, and let's have a, you can say, look on AI in microbiology, right? So here we just have a research paper here, which is just showing that with the help of, you can say, old identification method, the scientists are just trying to see the, you can say, antibiotics, and they discovered the new antibiotics with the help of new deep learning methods to, you can say, fight against different types of infectious diseases in the human being, right? So with the help of machine learning, deep learning, AI, you can develop novel antibiotics to kill dangerous bacterium in the lab, right? So I am Dr. Shakra Ghazanfar, and I'm working as a senior scientific officer at Pakistan Agriculture Research Center. So here's some brief introduction of our lab ongoing project. We are just using deep learning, machine learning, and AI algorithms in our research to just filter out the different types of microbial strains to make a new product in our country, right? So we are also providing different types of microbial strains for research in our society as well. So there's some brief introduction regarding our team talking in different events regarding AI in microbiology research. So what is AI? Specifically, it's a, you can say, branch of our computer science that aims to just create an artificial machine to serve a unique machine for the solution of different types of problem in my case, microbiology labs, right? So there is a domain like AI, machine learning, and deep learning. There's a difference between machine learning, deep learning, and AI. So you have to be very careful regarding selection of any AI technology to sort out any type of problem in your lab. So before going to start AI, you have to learn these basic terminology to sort out your problems. So here is the role of artificial intelligence or deep learning, machine learning, microbiology. In our, you can say, lab problems, or you can say in microbiology, the different types of bacterial or yeast strains can be used in food as well as in antibiotics and medicine. But these bacterial, which having some type of potential, cannot be identified with the help of our own, you can say, old methods. So discovery and other type of validation process of any type of bacteria required extensive time as well as effort and budget. Therefore, it is great interest to develop a unique, you can say, screening method based upon AI to identify specific type of bacteria, right? Or it's a safe time, you can say, or and low error, you can say, technology to just screen out a bacteria from a huge type of bacterial strains. So if we are talking about, you can say, live microbial feed supplements, or you can say probiotics, these are unique probiotic strains which are naturally present inside human gut to improve the human health in cost effective and no, you can say, side effect. They can be used to treat cancer as well. They can improve the gut health. They can beat the, you can say, fight against bad bacteria as well. So these are naturally probiotics, but the selection of the probiotics is very difficult with our method. So what are smart probiotic strains? These strains can be resistant to harsh gut environment, and they have a, you can say, huge potential to just, you can say, have a adhesion property to just hold a gastrointestinal tract of a host, or you can say human gut. So they have no various factor, and they generally recognized as a safe status from WHO as well. So there is a large of challenge in searching of smart probiotic identification. Major is to just, you can say, complex microbial genomic data. So if we are talking about the old identification method of the bacterial strain, which can be used to make a food product, they can be phenotypically identification problems, molecular identification problem, probiotic activity screening is another hurdle for the screening of smart probiotics. And then you have to follow huge test to just screen out a small tiny bacteria in to the lab for preparation of product. So it's a very, you can say, time consuming method. So different types of, you can say, challenges are available to just screen out as T bacteria or yeast strains in your lab for preparation of any type of, you can say, edible product. So if you have just say that well, it's hard to prepare a target specific probiotic product in a market. Why? Number one major issue is that the target-based probiotic, or you can say, if you are setting a small yeast-based probiotics in your lab, you have to screen out the phenotypical test. Then you have to see the if you this screening test from a breed, feed type, environment, animal genomics. It's from, if it's from animal gut. So by using all these, you can say, parameters, you have to just screen out a specific bacterial strain inside the human gut environment as well. So if you are talking about probiotic product preparation without AI, you have to follow these 13 steps for commercialization of any type of one bacterial strain made probiotics. So you have to follow different types of WHO and FAO guideline steps. But if you follow the probiotic product with, you can say, AI, then it's very, you can say, time will be less for the screening of a probiotic product. So by using the AI method, you can screen out a unique, you can say, your own target bacteria from a huge number of strains in your lab. So how machine learning can help to search out target-based probiotic strain? They can easily speed up the probiotic, you can say, discovery. They can enhance the prediction accuracy, then can integrate the genomic potential as well, right? So here is a experimental proof of that, you can say, unique idea of using AI in microbiology. You have to see, in our lab, we have just developed a unique NGAB probiotic product tool, which can easily use to predict a unique yeast strains from a number of strains to build a new product in our lab. So we got a copyright from GPO as well. So what is the basic material method of that technology? Number one, we have just follow a unique, simple machine learning method to just screen out a unique probiotic strains from a bundle of probiotic, non-probiotics yeast strains, right? We have follow step 1 to step 7. These are all already available steps. We have just put our data, that is probiotic and non-probiotic strains. We have just follow the main, you can say, data collection steps in our lab, and then use this data for preparation of a unique model for screening of probiotic strains from a huge number of you can say, tested strains data. And for this, we have just gathered the data from WGS, whole genome sequencing from NCBI. It's a one data set where we have just screened out the data from our lab as well. We just use the already published data as well as the data from our lab as well. Then after using that, we have just, you can say, screen out a feature from this data, whether this have some, you can say, unique probiotic product related gene as well or not. Then after that, we have just went for, as you can say, raw data probiotic bacteria, and after quality checking with different genomically available, you can say, tools, trimming tools, assemble tool, annotation, extraction probiotic, we just made our data in that condition. We can build a new probiotic, you can say, prediction model in our lab. Then in probiotic selection, we have just select our desired feature, right? Feature, gene expression level, presence of specific gene, as well as presence of a metabolic pathway as well. And then after that, evolutionary relationship between different strain as well. Then environmental factor conditions under different types of, you can say, selection. And then after that, the dependent of probiotic prediction as well. The ability of strain to confirm who beneficial is another feature in our data as well. Then after feature extraction, we just use a basic statistical test to just build on feature selection of our data as well. After feature selection and feature extraction, we just split our data into, you can say, test and you train data into 20%. After using different types of model like GLM, RF, SVL, and NN, we just built up, you can say, our own desired model by checking the accuracy of these applied model. And then after evaluation, we have a just, you can say, give a validation of our data as well. Right after model, you can say, validation, we have just different types of result in our hands as well. This is the data set we used in our lab to just predict a new yeast from a huge data set, right? This data can be, you can say, taken from the already published data available on the NCBI, as well as you can use this data from your own lab as well if you have some, you can say, mini objective in your mind, right? Then after that, EDA, exploratory data analysis, was done with the help of different types of, you can say, tools to just build, you can say, your own prediction, or you can say positive correlation between the colony morphology, colony prediction of your desired feature, given feature, right? So this slide show the feature important analysis, whether your given model having any type of accuracy, and our, you can say, model giving, you can say, huge prediction in terms of, you can say, material accident. So the main, you can say, model is to just predict the accuracy of a pathogenic strain, the drug resistant strains, pH and acid tolerance strains. So overall, model prediction was very much, you can say, helpful for prediction of new probiotic strains prediction in our lab. So by using the machine learning algorithm, simple machine learning method, we just built a new model which can predict the probiotic and non-probiotic strains in our lab. By using this strain, we can easily predict the probiotic nature of that strain without going to perform any type of better test in the lab, right? So this is a summary of our AI-based prediction tool, data retrieve from data retrieve to have to model built up for the screening of unique strains from a huge untested strains. So it's a front page of our, you can say, NIGA probiotic predict model, where we just put our data, untested data, and can predict that, well, yes, this data can be used to prepare any type of unique, promising, or you can say, novel probiotic product in future or not. So here's a unique, you can say, overview of our tool. Another overview of our tool, we just built a tool with the Computational University Islamabad, and here we just built a new machine learning based tool for prediction of anti-cancerous peptides as well. So what is the main advantage of our NIGAB probiotic predict machine learning based tool? We can easily, we use this tool to screen out a unique strain, and that this strain is no use in our lab in our country to predict a new yeast strain for preparation of our new yeast extract production for bacteriatum, or you can say fluidatum, right? So another another ongoing project of our lab is Bacteriologene 102, AI-based Pakistani probiotic product for animal milk production enhancement. So all based upon, you can say, AI model to just build a new tool and then build a new product as well. So it's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to your lab. What type of problem in your lab? Use the AI tool and then build a new product if you have a AI expert in your hand, right? So after, what is the outcome of your machine learning tool? It can predict the prediction of draft genome as well, the pH prediction and draft genome, and easy to use, and it's a very user friendly and time safe for production product provision as well, right? So after using huge machine learning AI model in our research, we have as you can say, more than 300 impact factor from our lab, and there's our lab is just going to up with the help of AI algorithm in the research, right? We have a huge number of PhD MPhil students which are using AI model to build a new tool and build a new product. So what is the outcome here is a unique, you can say, paper from our lab, which is just use AI model to build a new tool, and then it is publishing for computational biology and chemistry in 2024. And another paper which just use AI tool to predict the heat shock protein using machine learning model. So we are also using our expertise to just give a huge publication to the reader that the some book are under, you can say, writing process with the Springer Nature as well as CSE Press, where we are just using the concept of AI in probiotic selection to build a new model, right? So this is our another idea. We have a research collaboration with the European Union, China, and the UK, where we are just using the concept of chat board for livestock. We are just trying to emerge, as you can say, and train the staff for AI working as a team member to build a new milk production enhancement, you can say, potato creation. So it's only depends upon your own, you can say, vision. What is your problem in your lab? As a scientist, you have to see the basic, you can say, learning of the problem. If problem in your hand, you can easily, you can sort out your problem, and if this problem is sorted out, you can easily build a new innovation in your lab. If it's from microbiology lab, you can build a new product with the help of AI, machine learning, deep learning model. So let's learn AI and give a human as a safe environment for living. Thank you so much from Dr. Shakra, Pakistan Agriculture Research Center, Islamabad, Pakistan.
Are there any questions? Thank you very much, Dr. Shakira. Our next speaker is Dr. Rami Ayub. Dr. Rami Ayub is an innovative and result-oriented professional with over 18 plus years of experience in executive level experience and responsible for all aspects of strategic technology planning and achievement of enterprise goals. He is a CEO of Spark Information Technology, a technology focused on developing innovative solutions to tackle modern business challenges. With years of experience in the technology industry, have proven track record of leading successful projects and teams. As a dynamic and forward-thinking leader, he has embraced the latest technological advancements such as artificial intelligence and machine learning to drive innovation and productivity in his organization. He is also a founder of AstroTech Hub to conduct research into various aspects of the universe. This involved designing and carrying out experiments, analyzing data and publishing research papers, development of theoretical models to explain the behavior of celestial objects and phenomena. This involved using mathematical equations to simulate different scenarios and predict outcomes. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Dr. Rami Ayub.
Thank you, Ashok, for this introduction, and I hope today I can deliver something useful content to our audience about this emerging technology, which is very important and basic in our today operation. Thank you again.
Could you please share your screen?
All right. So I'd like from the beginning to welcome our instructor and our before presenter who presented these useful topics today for the continuous 2 days and sharing their useful insight about what we have challenging today and what is the AI role that can play a major factor in our daily life, and how can we improve our efficiency at all types of operation. Okay, so based on the introduction by Ashok, okay, I will go very quick about my bio. I am Dr. Rami Ayoub, as CIO and CEO of Spark Tech Hub, a focal point for the technology and how to use the emerging technology in building a roadmap and planning for business strategy, implementing the right goals and the right implementation, with allowing enablers and connectors that support business vision to implement and achieve their goals in the right manner. Also, how to using the digital transformation to transform the business nature and the business ethics in the right way, and in the normal procedure that can make our processes and the business activities in modernization and digitization way. Also, how to secure the objectives and the goal of the enterprises through governance, the IT subjects. Okay, how we can enable technology that can support and govern the enterprise goals and objectives as well. Also, we are in deep digital services that enhance and the design of the digital products in the way how it's interact in the proactive and productive way, and how we can satisfy the end user through this digitization process life cycle. So let me introduce today what we are talking about, and the understanding the concept of AI, and why we are using AI, artificial intelligence, and assume that AI is a mandatory and a point that's required in our digital transformation journey. So AI, it's not something, a new tool. AI is invented since 1960s, okay, by several innovators, how they can using the system to do certain tasks in human behalf. So AI itself, okay, we need to look into the way how we can customize it and how we can enable the technology to understand our need and taking the right action and the right behavior based on the input itself. So while we are going in digital transformation journey and we transform our current entire operation of our businesses or entire life at all sectors, we need to look to the AI itself as a practical tool that can satisfy that journey and reach us to the concept of transformation. Because if we are copying the technology with the same method and with the same implementation as it is, okay, here we are just copying and we are just adding another consequences or overload our business processes. So we have to look to the AI as innovation, as a playing role that can transform and can make changes to our daily operation. So AI is a very important key point that support us in this journey in the digital transformation. It can play multiple roles at various industry by enhancing the decision making while understanding and process a huge quantity of information and data through automation processes, by minimize human interaction, and improving the customer experience by understanding and the behavior of the customer, how the customer is interacting with the digital products, and based on that one, AI take the right understanding and it produce the way that can the customer satisfied in his choice. So AI is processing and analyzing a huge number and large amount of data very quickly and accurately and give you the result within a few clicks, which can inform you what's the right and the type of the decision that shall be taken. Also, if we look into the automation, AI itself, it's power the system, okay, through automation and through repetitive tasks and workflow processes. By understanding the right action shall be taken at each stages and process that action and that input to another action. So here the accuracy and the failure of a human interactive, it will be eliminated and the efficiency will be more and way efficient by processing each request and single request in the as per to the expectation. So based on that things, okay, AI play a role that personalize the way how we interact with other parties, such like a customer. So understanding customer behavior and preferences, AI deliver the right choices and the right sources of information and sources of the solution that's requested through customer application. Also, we do a predictive analysis, okay, by historical data and processing that data and come out with a story. So each set of data is a processing and making a story behind that data and what should be the right and the predictive way and based on this data and information. And the process optimization is very critical point here, that every task or every action is based on number or either a single or number of processes. So optimizing that process based on the right action and based on the right input, okay, it's come out with the expected outcomes, either through productivity or number of processes data, or the right action, what shall be the next stages of based on the few inputs that processes through that optimization. Also enhancing the customer experience, okay, through different channels. So today we are talking about as generative AI, okay, by playing with the content and understanding the languages from different sources through certain technologies such like chatbot, NPLR, and other products that interact with other parties from humans and processing that languages and that questions and queries to the outcome. So here we are satisfying and we are enhancing and improving the customer retention within the organization themselves or the entity. Risk management by analyzing the patterns and the threats that detected. So processing multiple experiments based on the historical events, taking that events and process it in the right way and understanding the historical threats, it's eliminating the risk for any upcoming transaction or data processing itself. So overall, AI is a powerful tool that driving the digital transformation through enabling and adapt fast and based on data-driven, customer-centric landscape and digital age. So the ability to analyze data and automate the process itself is give us a push that's let us depend on AI and make it as an our daily tool that can improve our efficiency and productivity within the environment itself. So overall, AI in today rapidly evolution, okay, and with the digital era, AI should look to the way that's as a strategic tactical partner. We should not look to this emerging technology is just the way that we are just digitize our process, and not looking to the AI itself as a way that just repeat itself. We should look into the way as an innovation, how we can improve our life cycle, how we can make ourselves in the top of the line with other parties, either our competitors, our interested party, how we can satisfy the need with the people we are engaging. So it's very important in this journey. We have to look to the AI as a tool of innovation, of creative. It should satisfy the outcome that's expected, okay, from the requested order. So from that matter, okay, this allows organization to make more accurate prediction by processing a huge number of data. So these process data that give us an insightful about what is going on and what is the entire operation of certain activity it's occurred. Is it reaching the KPI? It is reaching the targeted from that expected model or not? So with a few clicks, we can analyze and process a huge number of data that can give us a story, give us a way that we can understand of what we are dealing with, to whom, okay, what is our weaknesses, what is the key critical point. So this technology, it should be designed in the way that can satisfy our need. Also, today, in very fast area that we have a big data processing all around, okay, over internet, about the volume of the data itself, how fast of data set per second is processing, okay, the number of the demand that require that information. So we should enable these tools that can process this information and that can satisfy, and also the way how we are engaging with our client. So the customer behavior, the customer personalization, he should, when he interact with such tools, that he can satisfy, that he can feel that there is a response. It's not just a robotic system, okay, that is not interact or is not also engage in the right way that can satisfy the customer needs. So we have to consider all these aspects while we are dealing with such technology. Thus, we need put in place a way of innovation, a way of creative that can reach our target as expected. Also, AI being used to enhance customer experience through personalization, as I explained, by putting the right recommendation, understand what is the customer looking for through processing by his clicking in the keyboard, searching through the web. So AI can capture this movement, can capture this interactive and react based on these inputs. So he can easy the way what is the customer are looking for and the sources of information that he's reaching out. So today we have also a great challenge through cybersecurity. While this technology is enhancing and this technology is implementing, security is mandatory to be in the place. While we are forwarding information from one place to another place, what the right information shall be shared, the tagging the information, who should this information to be accessed, what should be, how this information should be manipulated and treated in the right way. So through this number of processing of information, AI can learn what is the right the right set and the standard way to implement the right, to minimize the risk, to minimize the vulnerabilities, the behavior of the interacted transaction. So how we can take and understanding this traffic and put the right way. So AI today has become a very critical tool in cybersecurity. Also, when we are looking to the automation, okay, AI have a set of algorithms, okay, based on these algorithms is processing the right data. And at each stage, while we are, for example, when we are implementing a bank account, okay, so it's capture the customer information, taking that information, can interact in human behavior and asking the certain client about set of information and mandatory field that to be filled. So AI can take this information, processing, put it based on the specific algorithm that specified from the users, and the processing that information at each stage, and based on the each stages is doing the right action. So with imagination of automation, we can consider how much time saving, effort, number of users, the accuracy, how to minimize mistakes, okay, process. So all that things, all that aspects is putting in the consideration when we are talking about automation. Also, significant role through data analytics and predicting analytics. By leveraging AI algorithms, business can analyze vast amount of data to uncover valuable insight and trends. As I explained earlier, okay, in the marketplace itself, we are dealing with a huge number of competitors, a huge number of products, a huge number of services. So AI can learning these services, can understand what is the trend now, what is the missing in the market. AI can capture this information and build for you a model that you need to enhance your services and improve your productivity and improve the way of your solution. So with a few clicks and with fast analyzing and processing data, we can predict what should be the next stage of service improvement, how our product and solution should be customized and designed for a specific market in certain season, okay, in areas. Some countries are depending on the seasons. Some of them depends on the customer demands. Okay, so this input, this analytics, okay, AI can save a lot of things by processing this information and analyzing and give you a way and path how you can enhance your strategy and business visionary and products. Furthermore, AI is enabling business to innovate and develop new products. So by analyzing this information and leveraging AI tools, okay, can enhance and look to the way how we can customize our design, how we make our design more productive and more proactive based on the market reaction. Today in the stock market and cryptocurrencies, in every single seconds, there are a huge number of data driven. So based on that things and based on in these changes, fast changing in very short time, you need such powerful tools that can capture this information and capture these changes and give you the alert how to react in the right time and what should be the next action that should be taken. So imagine with such tool how much you are saving in terms of risk, in terms of disaster, in terms of cost, and many other aspects. So overall, AI is very important, especially in this area, the fourth industrial evolution. Digital transformation now today has become a mandatory tool. Okay, it's become a tool that's used in every industry, in healthcare, in financial sector, in production, in manufacture. So this manual interaction and manual data entry is not there anymore. So in this digitization era, okay, we need beside a tactical partner such like AI that can take the power of digital products and the process that understanding these products, how it is work, and what should be the right strategy and the right process through this service life cycle. So AI has become a tactical partner. Okay, it's a mandatory tool that used in the digital transformation journey. So as a summary of this presentation, okay, there are a few tips, okay, and few suggestions that we need to consider it. When we are thinking about AI and digitization, we have to look to the way that how we are leveraging these tools to satisfy our needs. Because at the end of the day, you are interacting with a human. So human behavior is diverse from one person to another person, from one culture to another culture. The business conduct from one organization is different than other organization. So we are not just repeating the technology, and we are just not using such tools just to say that we are in modernization. We are just digitizing our process. No, we have to look to the way how we are relaying such tools, how we are relaying such technology to improve our life cycle. We are looking here to the creativity. If we are not solving our issue in the right way, in the best practices that should be, so we are just repeating the issue. We are just repeating our problems. So lack of information, lack of the design, lack of the data driven. If we don't have clean data, so we are just processing wrong information. We are just predicting wrong decision. So through these failures and through these flaws, we are just magnifying these tools by using these tools. So we should be very careful and very having the sense of creativity while we are processing. We have to look to the best practice. Our data should be clean. Awareness is how to use these tools. What is the expected from the different design? So there are many aspects we should consider it. There are many ways that we need to put it in the place before we go to any expected design or expected implementation. We have to look to the market itself, the current trend, what is the people are looking for, what is the current obstacle that we need to overcome with the solution that solve it. So while we are putting these elements in the right way, we can assure that we are taking the benefit and the use of these tools. So finally, I hope that I deliver a useful information about what is AI and why we are having AI and how we should be careful with AI while we are using it through understanding the expectation and outcome that need to be delivered. So I would like to thank the audience and the organizers of this events, and I would like to thank you, and I hope that I produce and deliver a useful information. Thank you again, and hope to see you in the coming summits and events.
Are there any questions? Thank you very much for your great presentation, Dr. Rami. Hello. Hello, Dr. Rami. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and see you in the nearest future.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Our next speaker is Dr. David Roldan Martinez. Dr. David Roldan Martinez is a seasoned expert in AI, APIs, and smart digital ecosystems with over 25 years of experience driving innovation and digital transformation across multiple industries. He is holding a PhD in telecommunication engineering. David bridges the gap between technology and business, enabling organizations to unlock new opportunities and solve complex challenges. A sought after thought leader and speaker, he has authored over 30 books and contributed to numerous global conferences, sharing actionable insights on the transformative power of AI and its integration into smart ecosystems. David is passionate about fostering strategic leadership and delivering impactful solutions that empower businesses to thrive in dynamic environments. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Dr. David Roldan Martinez. Due to health issues, Dr. David is unable to attend, so he sent a recorded video to play here.
I'm going to talk about how agentic AI can lead to a better ordering pizza service. I'm going to share my screen in a while. Okay. So what is our aim? Let me see if I can put this better here. Okay, what's our aim today? We are going to explore the intersection between vertical AI agents and in API-based integration. At the end of the talk, we will see a real example of how vertical AI agents can improve improve and enhance customer experience with a simple example, which is ordering a pepperoni pizza. First of all, we will see which are the traditional challenges in API integration, what agentic AI is, the types of AI agents, how AI agents are shaping the future of API integration, and then I will remark some conclusions and insights. Well, let's go. Which are the traditional challenges on API integration? Well, before to go in deep there, let's stop pristine clear defining what is an API. An API, I'm going to be quite simplistic, so assume that, but simply put, an API is a contract between a provider and a consumer stating pristine clear the operations that are under that contract, the data model, which is the input data I need to perform those operations, but also the output data those operations as giving you back as results, and how error are handled. This contract allows to not only to decouple implementations at both sides of the API. I mean the consumer and also the producer, but also perfectly characterize the system by explaining there which are the services that a system, an application, or wherever are offering to the other part, to the rest of the ecosystems. So note that this, what that means. This means that I can connect, I can link different systems by chaining their APIs, so that I can build more innovative and more complex systems that at the end of the day, what I'm providing is a better service to my ecosystem, because I will be able to add more value to the ecosystem through these interconnections of different APIs. Well, having this in mind, which are the main challenges of API integrations? Okay, these challenges are not new. We are integrating systems from from the very beginning of the technology. So and which has been the traditional challenges we have dealing against. First, complexity. Integrations by nature are very complex because we are trying to make different systems with different data models, with different technologies, with different features to interact and to connect between each other. Then what happens as a consequence of that complexity? If that complexity is not properly handled, integration break. So what that means that the system won't work. Why? Because there is a misalignment in the communications in the communication between all or within some of the parts that are forming the system. In addition, if we are not able to fine tune that integration with properly, we can get inefficient processes. So some examples, some representative examples of these challenges are data serialization, relimiting, and error handling. Let's explore these three examples more in deep. Okay. Then first, data serializations. If I have to integrate two systems that in general having different data models, I will need to make a conversion between those formats. It doesn't matter, for example, from JSON to XML, or from XML to JSON, or in general from one format to another format. This is a problem because this conversion can be manual. I get for example, the JSON, read the file, parse the file, and then create another one in the new format. Or some API management platform, for example, as MuleSoft, has some internal language in MuleSoft. In MuleSoft terminology is data wave. You can use data wave expression to make this transformation. I would say automatically. Of course, you as a developer have to code in data wave how this conversion is going to be done. Another common integration problem is relimiting. What that means? That means that in general, the systems I want to integrate, I want to interconnect, has different throughput. What that means? That this means that if one system is able to process a request very fast and the other is slower, the second one can be overflow. So in some way, I have to make that rate or that throughput adaptation. Another common error, another common challenge challenge on API integrations is how are you handling the errors? How are you dealing with HTTP status codes, and how are you designing your exception handling mechanisms? This example you have here in the slide. It's an example from MuleSoft. So as you can see on MuleSoft, you can define the events and how the events, the error events, and how are you going to process those or to handle that error. But imagine that you have to connect MuleSoft with another platform. In some part, in the middle of the two systems, you will have to make that adaptation. So that's why we have a challenge here. Okay. Let's see now which is agentic AI. Well, what is an AI agent? Okay, an AI agent, in general, it's an applications with a very particular goal that achieves that goal by observing the world and acting depending on the constraints or the states that it sees. I mean, it's an application that has a clear objective that can be and make some actions that are triggered by the observation of the world or the context the AI agent is, I would say, living. So this means that an AI agent has three main characteristics. First is autonomy. AI agents can act independently. You don't need a human in the middle doing things. So the actions that the AI agent performs are triggered automatically. Then the second one is that they are goal-oriented. This means that they are there to do something in particular, and they are proactive. This means that they are able to learn from the context they are or from the environment, and then take the initiative or making what they are called to do to achieve their particular goals. Which is the architecture, the general architecture of an AI agent? Well, in general, an AI agent has three components: the model, the tool, and the orchestration layer. The model refers to the language model that will be used to perform what the AI agent does. So what they do is to follow an instruction-based reasoning and logic framework, React or chain of thought or tree of thought. So depending on the scope of the model, we will distinguish between horizontal agents, which are general purpose one, or vertical agents that are very specialized AI agents, fine-tuned to perform a particular task. Then we also have tools. The tools allows, mainly APIs, the tools allows the AI agent to interact with the external world. So doing things, it's how they are. The tools part of the AI agent allows you to communicate with the external world, which is a central point for the agent to consume, but also to expose the data they are consuming or they are producing. And then we'll have an orchestration layer that describes how the rest of the components are synchronized. Then, okay, what happens if instead of one agent, I have a network of AI agents? Well, that's what is called cognitive architecture, but it's what we can see here at the picture. It's pretty much the same architecture, but at a higher scale. We also have the reasoning layer, which is the model how the network decides what to do. You also have an agent marketplace, which is a catalog or a registry that where AI agents can be found. We also have integration layer, which supports the interaction between AI agents, the shared memory layer, which allows to store some information that is critical for the integration of the agents involved in a particular task. We have the governance layer, which is the one that deals with privacy, security, explainability, ethics, and so on, ensuring that the systems operate in a responsible and explainable and transparent way. And we have the orchestration layer, which is the one in charge of orchestrating and coordinating all the traffic, all the calls, requests, answers, or whatever of the AI agents network. So which are the benefits of AI agents? First of all, improve efficiency and automation. They can handle repetitive tasks on their own. There is no need of manual intervention. Enhance data collection and analysis. That means that the AI agents can process a huge amount of information from different sources scattered and spread all about the universe of your enterprise data. Increase flexibility and adaptability, which means that the system is able to respond dynamically to the changing conditions and requirements of the environment they are acting upon. And then the reduce cost and error. As a consequence of the former advantages, we are able to reduce the cost because we are more efficient. But everything is not, pink. We still have some challenges to be faced. Which ones? Security and privacy. Data handled by autonomous agents requires robust safeguards and protocols. Consistency. Maintaining high data quality across the integrated systems needs to be addressed. Lack of standardization, which makes interoperability less efficient, is also a problem. Even if we rely in APIs. And ethical considerations, which is we have to deal with bias, for example. Okay, which are the types of agents we can find in general? Okay, as I mentioned before, in general, we have two types of AI agents. We have the horizontal AI agents, which are the one that can perform very general purpose task. They could iterate on integration task, optimizing the performance until they achieve an acceptable level of service. So in the world of API integration, these agents fell short of the mark. Why? Because you cannot fine-tune the integration. As I mentioned before, horizontal AI agents are general purpose. So they can do so many things, but they are not specialized. Here you have a summary of the features of AI or horizontal AI agents. Well, to get rid of the inconvenience of horizontal AI agents, we find the vertical AI agent. If horizontal AI agents were general purpose, vertical AI agents are AI agents fine-tuned or especially trained and tuned to do something very particular. So this means that they are more reliable solution to address the challenges found in API integration landscape. Why? Because they are able to deal with the integration challenges we previously described. So there are three types of vertical AI agents. The first one are copilots. They are intelligent interfaces between users and industry-specific systems. They have a very deep knowledge in a particular domain. So in a particular domain, and are able to understand terminology, regulations, and best practices from an industry, from a particular or a specific industry. We also have autonomous agents. They are AI-powered entities operating independently to make something very specific task. They are designed to handle complex routines, working with parameters, maintaining the flexibility to be able to adapt to the changing conditions of the environment. And finally, we have AI commanders, which are systems that provide an oversight and coordination across the AI systems. Okay, here you have a summary of a comparison between horizontal AI agents and vertical AI agents. Okay, and how is the future of API integration shaping? Okay, we need first to understand how an AI agent or how agentic AI looks like. Well, why APIs are so and why APIs are so important here? In general, we tend to think that everything is simple. So if I want to get some answer, which means respuesta, I have to make a question, which is pregunta, to an LLM. We tend to think is everything. We expect to think to see that everything is so easy like that. However, the reality is very different. So we have the answer, we have the question here, but these questions, as you see the system, if we take a look to the black box, or the box is not black because we are seeing here the components, we will see that here we have a chain of LLMs with different types of databases. We have relational databases, but also vectorial databases. We also have APIs that allow us to interconnect the different LLMs here. So the change, the result of one LLM is forwarded to one or two or more LLMs to perform very different things, and then make an integration before to provide the last results here. So as you can see, these systems is much more complex than this. Okay, so which are the future trends that we can foresee for the short term this year? Well, for first one will be composable AI systems, which are modular systems allowing organizations to assemble them to provide or to build more complex one, as if they were APIs. Remember at the beginning of the talk, I said that the main benefit of the API, or one of the benefits of the APIs, was that you are able to chain or to connect different APIs to build a more complex and more innovative application. The same can be applied to composable AI systems. The concept is the same, but instead of having only an API or the system underlying the API, it's an AI system. Then another trend is agent chaining, which means I'm going to link different agents to provide or to solve more complex tasks. Also, it's important agent observability. Why? Well, think that if we are creating more and more complex systems formed by different AI agents, we need to know how they are behaving, how they are performing, to detect incidents or to prevent errors and act before the error happens. That's observability. It's not about being reactive but proactive. Then another trend will be cross-industry intelligence sharing. This means, okay, we can, if one industry has a clear best practices set, why not to share or to try to apply those best practices to another industry? And then personalized AI at scales, which means being able to go further, the fine-tuning that vertical AI agents provide, to be able to super specialize those agents. Okay, so, but what about my pizza? Then, suppose a traditional service center, which can be here, there is one customer, Jane, that messages pizza at home to order a pepperoni pizza. When the message arrives to the service customer to the customer service center, a service agent, Mary, takes the order and start to support Jane. It queries customer data. She queries customer data. She guarantees the fulfillment of the order, launches the payment process, and then order the logistics to take the pizza to Jane's home. Right. This is very complex for the service agent. Mary will be struggle to do by doing so many things. So doing so many things in very little time, it's easy to make mistakes, right? So how this can be done more efficient using AI. Okay, yes, with automation. We have an AI agent that will take the customer data, and by APIs, he will take care of it will take care of the fulfillment, then the payment, and then the logistic. But also, once the AI agent has processed and integrated all that information, he will be able to make actions that will be as easy as telling Jane, the agent, that everything is ready, so that the service agent, Jane, can tell the service agent, which is Mary, can tell Jane that everything is okay. So and also the AI agent can deal with refunding, redelivery, and credit if there is a mistake in the middle. So just for remarking conclusions, the insights we can take from the talk are that the future of vertical AI agents, it's a shift on how organizations are operating and competing in the market. We are putting the first steps to composable AI enterprises in which humans and AI agents will interact between them to perform different tasks. Vertical agents are redefining API integration space because they are able to deal automatically with the integration challenges we mentioned at the beginning of the talk. Remember, we put 3 examples: rate limiting, data transformation, error handling. So, which are the topics or the areas where modern organization must focus? Well, first one, building modular systems by changing agents and using and creating more complex systems by composition, investing in observability, encouraging to cross-industry collaboration to drive innovation by reducing best practices of one sector in another sector, and then enhancing user engagement through highly personalized services. Yeah, and okay, I will be more than happy to answer your questions. Just contact me, and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Kiran, for involving me in this amazing conference, and see you in the next webinar. Bye bye.
Yeah, Professor Francisco.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, David. But I think he's not online because I think it's a video presentation. But by the way, thank you, everybody. I prepared some few words to close this Third Global webinar. So it truly has been an honor to stay with you in this couple of days for the Third Global webinar on artificial intelligence and data science. And first and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, panelists, and moderators for their invaluable contribution, and your expertise and dedication have made this conference a rich and enlightening experience. Special thanks to the organizing committee, Kiran, and all the people behind you, of course. A sincere appreciation to each and every participant for your engagement, enthusiasm, and the willingness to collaborate. As we conclude today's works, let us not view this as an ending, but rather a new beginning. The knowledge we have gained, the connection we have fostered, the ideas we have generated so serve as a catalyst for positive change. Let us take what we have learned and apply in our respective field, organization, and community. I encourage each of you to stay connected, continue the conversation, and collaborate beyond this event. The impact of our discussion here should extend far beyond these walls. As a final remarks, I can say that the certificates, conference book, and presentation review will be available within 3 days from now. So thank you and farewell to everybody still connected.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Okay. See you next conference.
Yes, I will tell you the next edition within 3 days, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Mr. Landry, thank you so much.
Okay. Enjoy your lives.
Bye. Mr. Miss Mariam and Jack, Charles, Benjamin. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Professor. Bye.